the way of this. We're in this bush, trying to be as annoying as possible. Out. Just here as well. There's that little notification. Thanks, Time Lord. Appreciate you. Jump through mid. Towards the dragon instead we look. Tyrion and crew now in the river. Don't want to give up soul point to Way, but again, the problem is at some point, someone is going to get by Ambassador, and Zuck has been able to walk behind and come up for a flank in a decent way. 2,000 gold up for Weibo. Again, it's where that gold is its problem. Slight miss on the Q, but the combo is just disgusting. Immediately deleted, but that's onto the support. Is that going to be a problem across the extended fight? It's about to try and trade the Zucker into the backline, causes a lot of difficulty. The between world is solid. They do bring down the Ambessa, but now Cube is left low, will likely fall. Into the backline goes Hung alongside Xiaohu. Tyrion manages to just about escape. Xiaohu, without the flash, I think will be unable to follow up onto this Xin Zhao, who's hunting for wherever he may be.
He's on the Raptors.
He's on the Raptors. Needs to leave. The wind becomes lightning, gets the slow and the heal. Xiaohu wears the distort, looking for the Q. The distort, tart 2, and manages to get the kill.
Yeah, Xiaohu, very good assassination in the backline. WE just can't deal with the point and click. Weibo win themselves their dragon. That was going to start really snowballing this game now. I think that WE had a really good start to this game through Tyrion and through Erher around the bot side of the map. Just haven't been able to contend with Weibo in the mid game. You somewhat expected as a team with a new jungler. They catch out Erher here, who was looking to put some wards down. He's a little bit too far up. He's the target who's actually got the ultimates thrown onto him. That was very surprising for me. I think they thought it would have gone onto the Ezreal. Because they don't use it onto the Ezreal, it means that actually Zucker does die here. It's a slight bonus for Weibo. Baron will go over to them as well. I think the contest from Weibo is now over.
It's feeling pretty done. There is the Baron attempted steal from the True Shot Barrage. It looked like it was on a decent timer, but still picked up by the safe smite key of Jirjir. Now 4,500 gold up, soul point. The composition that is looking pretty dangerous at this stage in the game. Xiaohu's even gone and bought the book.
As he's deserved to, Sam. 10 stacks on it. He's had a deathless game. Early lane versus the Aurora wasn't fantastic, but everything else has been very, very good from him. Saw a question in chat about whether the YouTube stream's working. YouTube streams are all up. Don't worry about that. All the YouTube streams are currently live. Don't you worry about that. So you can watch it on whatever platform you're watching or what you prefer to watch on. And whether you are on Twitch or YouTube or on the Onivia restream as well, makes a difference to us that you're watching it here. We hope that you're enjoying Styles. Drop a like, comment, subscribe if you've been enjoying what you're hearing. And it makes a difference because this is literally our job. You'll be supporting some independent streamers.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Tyrion gonna wait a little while on this wolf. I don't know why he's waiting. Is he just looking for a 3 talent strike or an ability to dodge out? Tyrion? Tyrion just leaves the wolf out there looking for the play. That's why they've given that up. The Tempered Fate just why the Between Worlds lands down to Xiao, who just gets to hop away. Oh, Weibo gaming, not going to happen elsewhere. Elk just murdered Cube. They do pick up Xiao, who the problem is the game is currently on the verge of ending.
Yeah, how much are they going to lose? I think it's going to be a Nexus turret. They have 3 grubs. Weibo are going to push in at least 1. Recalls come through now. It might even be damage on the second one.
Yeah, they're going to get damage indeed. I don't know whether they can push for anything more. Double cannon minion. Tyrion gets knocked up. Buffers through with the wind becomes lightning. 3 talent strike onto Hung, but I don't think he cares that much. Audacious Charge away. Zucker steps in. Does do a fairly decent amount of damage. There's a Locket Shield to keep the Ambessa topped up as the damage does begin to run. In fact, both Nexus turrets are down.
They are, and that means, hang on, they can just jump forward. Nice. The back goes too far. The Ezreal goes down.
They do indeed. Jirjir gets bounced around. Era does get that, but unfortunately, Karis desperate to go across the veil and find something, but he spends far too much time on the other side, and it will be pure grayscale for him. Tyrion going to try and dash forward onto Hung, but Zucker is the real terror here. Still 2 seconds on Cube. Finally back up and alive. The Nexus stands. Tyrion and Era low, but they have got defender's advantage. Can they deal with Zucker, who just jumps on Cube and says this Yorick means very little. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew thee well, and I will execute you very happily. The Nexus falls and Weibo Gaming make it look simple.
Yeah, WE game just falls between their fingers, the sand going between them. WE, new game, new jungler coming in for them, Tyrion. I don't think it was a bad game from him. I just think this team needs time to get used to the new jungle support pairing. I think that Erher was the better support here in first game 1, Sam. I think that wasn't the issue for them either. It just feels bad for Team WE that, you know, I think that their top side is very fragile right now. I don't think either solo lane had a good game from WE. Their bot lane was actually more than fine, I think, on the whole. But Weibo, despite their own struggles, do come out ahead the victors here. I think that JJ was a lot more solid with the way that he looked for plays, and I think the composition was a lot better too.
Oh, hello, folks. If you have not figured it out by now, I am Initialise. This is Nymaera, whose channel you may well be on. We have indeed been streaming the LPL for a number of years. At this point, you may have seen us on things like LEC, on various other streams. Well, NLC and Mere Masters back in the day as well. We've been all over the place, guys. We have been doing a lot of League of Legends content, honestly, Sam. Lots of League of Legends content for the last 5-6 years. It's been a hot minute, and you are now finding us here doing this co-stream of the LPL every day it's on. It's been wonderful to do this for you all, and for those of you who do in fact want to help support us, a couple of ways you can do that. There is obviously the ability to just hit that follow button. We are pushing for 11,000 followers. We can make it happen. So if you're not hit that follow button on the Twitch, similarly YouTube subscriptions there help just get some eyes on the content and onto the channel, which make a big difference. So for those of you who can do that, thank you very much. And outside of that, subscriptions, Twitch Primes make a huge deal, especially if we're pushing for things like Partner Plus, which can be a big deal for us and our ability to get money out of Twitch and make this a more sustainable career choice. Obviously, follow our socials. I'm Initializecasts. That's Nymaera. There's also a Ko-fi link for those of you who want to donate more on a one-off basis, or of course want to do it in a way that is supporting us if you're not on Twitch. That's also a way of doing it. Gets the money more directly to us, which is also very appreciated. Thanks to all those who do.
Thank you for that, Sam. Do you need a break for anything?
I could use a quick bio break.
Cool.
Do you want a coffee?
No, I've got half for one right now. I'm gonna go put on an ad break while we watch ourselves the post-game highlights as well. So sit back and enjoy them. I mean, not the ad. Well, I mean, you might enjoy adverts if you do. Fantastic, and we'll put on more. Oh god. Player of the game. I wonder who I'd give. Well, it's got to be probably the ambassador, right? Suika had a really solid game. Suika. Why fish, Harold? Why fish? Yeah, I agree. I think Arrowhead deserves to be on a better team than this. Like I said, I think he's a top 4 support last split. I think that he really glowed up. I think that he's showing that actually he can be a very good support with an LPL level. And the ambassador does get the player of the game. First one of the split for Tsika. That being said, they haven't won that many games, so it's not like there were that many to go around for the team. I still maintain Hung hasn't impressed when it matters. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that he's never had a good international tournament. Every single one of his international tournaments has been bad. And I also think that, well, I think that 2023 he did. 2023 he did. And last year he did when he was domestic. Just didn't really work beyond that. But yeah, Worlds 23, 24, and 25, he really did just shit the bed badly. Apologies for the swearing, but he was really bad. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, like, yeah, that was on Tyrion, not on Hung. But he did credit, you got to be in the right place, you got to steal it at the right time. Yeah. I don't think Tyrion's been that bad. I think Tyrion's been fine. Like, the first game was fine, you know? I don't think that was, yeah, I don't think that was, like, a Tyrion issue. Tyrion was fine first game. He was fine. So, second game, I mean, what are we expecting from WE, I suppose? Can I start on something? Right, I do need a break. Sam, can I tag out with you at some point, please? I would also like a break at some point, just letting you know. It's all good. No rush. Oh, I just made the mic. Whoopsies. There we go. Okay. So I made a pretty good curry last night out of pretty much nothing. I just kind of used what was in the fridge. I just chucked a load of stuff in the curry. This tends to be how it works. A ton of onion and garlic and chili and coriander and stuff. Tends to make yourself a pretty good curry. So yeah, second series, that's more interesting to me, really. I mean, this one is very much a fight for survival at the bottom of the table. It is. And there's something very compelling about that. There is. But, yeah, I think there's something very compelling about seeing teams fighting for survival. These are our 2 bottom teams within Ascend, and if it comes to it, well, I don't know. Do I think any team in Nirvana's got what it takes to, like, take it to them? I mean, TT aren't bad, but I still think these teams are better than the Nirvana teams. LNG aren't that good. And 1xN is good, but the rest of the team is kind of buns. Well, that's a bit harsh, but I think the team is just kind of buns. I still think these are 2 teams which will probably stay in. They will probably stay in Group Ascend. Unless something horrid happens. Yeah, LNG does need a lot of work, which is why I'm like, I would have much preferred 1xN to bail and go somewhere else. I'm sure, I can't imagine he didn't have offers. This guy's really, really good. He's really good. Now would be the time I'd love to run Avas. I know I did run them just before. I still have another 10 minutes before we get into game. Problem is, at this point, we end up getting, like, because I guess I put outbreaks on a little too soon after going live. But, is that we often get them as we come into game. Well, no, just at the end of game. Sometimes we have to delay adverts. Oh, what else? Oh, yeah, I've been running my Uma runs. I have been running my Uma runs. Been trying my best to get right. I've again, like, I've left just doing CM planning until the last minute. If anyone's Legends drops any further, I think we have to start calling them trash pandas or raccoons instead, maybe. Oh my god, that'd be so harsh. Hey Angie, how's it going? Yeah, that's me. Oh, I'm tired, folks. I've not been getting good rest recently. The last couple of days, I was just fighting for my life on Twitter because I dared to say, by the way, co-streaming has issues. I don't think people realize that, like, if the main broadcast does go down for, like, LPL, you end up in a situation where every co-stream is also worse off. You know? Wait, shush. I'd love to see Elk in Weibo. Elk is on Weibo in fairness, but, yeah. Elk, yeah, he's been trying his best. I mean, like, he's the best part of Weibo, I think. Although JJ's also been good. JJ's good. Oh, and AL. Yeah, I think either 1xN... I would... Hey, Reese, thank you so much for the sub. Personally, I think I would prefer 1xN because that means that 1xN actually gets a good team and is saved from enemies. We have another good AD carry at that point. So I think I would prefer that, personally. Yeah. Yeah, I think that 1xN deserves a better team. He should be on a top team. The fact that he's not is very damning of LPL GMing, I think. Unless something, like, awful's happened behind the scenes, but we can't obviously speculate on that kind of stuff. Oh, okay, I'm also gonna go for my break as well.
Yes. The curry was lovely, Alex.
Yes. Yeah, no, Sam, that is also... That's all... Funnily enough, Sam, that's also perhaps the potential issue we're suffering from right now. We're suffering from curry success, is what we're saying. Okay, all right.
You're welcome for the info, by the way, guys.
Thanks, chat. Yeah, thanks for telling us to chat.
If I could run some more ads, guys, what we're going to do. Ha!
Sure, cool. We probably did need to do that anyway, or I'll leave it to it.
Yeah. Welcome back, one and all. I really like that dress. It's very pretty. Also, I really like this Sessions Diana track. It's great. Why is it just go smaller? There we go. That's what we need. It is a cute dress, yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I know what you mean now, Missly. Like, I think the thing is, Hope has been a very solid teamfight carry for years. I don't think his laning has been particularly exceptional, and I don't think he's necessarily someone you look at and expect to clutch out a game for you necessarily. Maybe in a team fight, but I think his laning phase has been up and down. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you again for the resub, Reese. Reese with the rolled R. It's a very Welsh name, is Reese. Or with Rhiannon and Rhydian. Randomly doing some accent work in my head. I don't know why I did that. I got very distracted there. ADHD moment. Can only apologize. Ambi Wambi, says Corey Montes III. That's looking like people back on stage there. Should be into draft again relatively shortly. And with that in mind, I think it's probably time, for as much as I'm enjoying this bit of Sessions Diana, to just switch our audio over. I am returned. Did you hear your compliment before game one? I'm sorry, Dio. Dio, you deserve two maidens. Yeah, like your namesake, you're just... You are deserving of great amounts of love. Those harem animes, they were written about you. How's that? Are we talking about Tabe with AL? Yeah, I mean, he did a lot with those players. I think the meta has changed in a way that's not been very helpful for them. Because again, they can't lane swap out of dodgy matchups to get towards a mid game that allows powerful roaming supports and jungle play. Because really, these days, you have to have your AD carry be able to do it by themselves and then be allowed Kyle to leave. And Hope has been fine, but not particularly great at that recently. Flandra has been struggling. I think Shanks is the one part of the team. I think Hope's not been great, was the honest answer. But yes. Those discussions about AL can wait. We really ought to look instead at game 2 here. Move that across there. That's better. And we shall continue on to game 2 here between Weibo Gaming and WE. Weibo won game 1 and relatively convincingly so. It was a close enough early stage. The problem was where that gold was getting distributed. A lot of it went to an ambassador. On the other side, it was Ura, who unfortunately picked up a lot of the early kills over someone like About or Tyrion. A lot of these bans will remain relatively consistent. The Karma, the Orianna, and the Rumble taken away from Weibo. Though we'll know, of course, it was the Pantheon that was banned last time. It's not this time when WE get to first pick it. Ashe, Jarvan also off the board alongside that Rise. There will be no Ashe Seraphine shenanigans. Still, the big global threat from the jungle locked in. Another first pick jungler. Are we thinking of the Lucianing early? You can save then something like a potential Milio or a Seraphine. Both would be, or a Nami, actually, if that matter, more likely. If you wanted to do that, be bold to first pick there. It might just be the Yunara Lulu angle. Instead, they say, look, we see your global jungler. We'll respond with a global jungler of our own in the Nocturne. Could look to lock in a support here as well. One of those prized enchanters would make some sense here if they wish to do it. Could also look at one of the better bot lane options. Yep, they will pick up the Lulu to deny a potential Yunara Lulu angle for About and Ura. Aatrox is a fun hover, but I doubt that gets locked. I imagine if you don't pick the Yunara, it gets locked here relatively swiftly by Weibo. Elk's been a very good early stage player of the Yunara. Plays out the early game well. I'm a little bit more dubious about his later stage plays, though. They'll lock in the Nami for now. Could still pick up that Yunara. Question is whether they want to do it with the Nami or not, or whether they just want to lock in the Corki. Say Corki Nami. Sheen proc plus Tidecaller's Blessing is always quite nasty. Good disengage options too. That allows the Corki to manage the Yunara in lane in a way that normally he can't ever use this Foss Bomb. Yunara will win out those extended trades, especially with the Lulu behind her. I still prefer the Yunara Lulu on the whole, but Corki Nami gets Nami into the game, which always feels good. Add in a tank front line, and Nami plus tank is very, very potent front to back. Hey, Monkey D. Rafi. Good to see it. When do you get subbed out? I mean, as of today, I know. I'm so used to you being on stage. But yeah, you've been subbed out. I think Monkey allegedly has chosen to step back himself. Tyrion has come up from the LDL. High Elf Prince, Blood of an Aryan, twin to Teclis, Archmage of the Safari. Consort to Alariel, the Everqueen. He's doing all right for himself as Tyrion. Just needs to win some League of Legends now. Azir and the Jace away. Again, seeing the Jace ban against Cube is always a little bit of a head scratcher, but clearly it's been something that has been plaguing people in scrims. There's possibly a discussion about how maybe even if Cube is the better tank player, they need him to have some priority in the lane with how the rest of the game is going. Azir, of course, away from Karis as well. Could still think about something like an Akali, which has always been a specialty pick for him. Ari also pretty solid with the Pantheon, and he's been banned away from Xiaohu. Karis is not a great Annie, is the honest answer. Couple options here. You can look for a tank blind top if you want to. Pick up the Sion, take it away from something like a Sion Nami. What happened there?
You just clicked the advert, so it ends up opening the browser.
About to close that. It's okay. It will be that Scion pickup.
So you asked what happened, I told you what happened. Happens, I've done it before as well. All right. Well, it is going to be that tank blind, as you were saying. Does mean that it's going to be front to back central on both sides. No Ambassador into Scion on the other side. So pretty easy. Something like the K'Sante into the Scion's actually completely okay there. Suppose you could go for something like Renekton if you wanted the fighter as well.
Definitely a possibility. Debating the Mel or the Ahri currently. I think the Ahri perhaps a little bit easier to follow the Panther, but we'll go towards that option.
Ooh, that'll be different. Of course, we've seen a ton of this coming through. This was obviously something which came around in 2024 a lot more, the Vayne top lane. And then basically lane swaps killed it for a while. And now because lane swaps are gone, we have very easy kind of ability to set up for it again. Scion does not like playing into that one at all. Maybe doesn't want to play into the Nocturne though, the Vayne. So we'll instead choose something which is the Flandre specialty. No, okay, right, that's why we don't talk about damn hovers. It's going to be the K'Sante, the first time we talked about. It's tank versus tank. I prefer this for Cube. Cube is a guy who's much better at teamfight impact on tanks than anything else he does, really. Not surprising to see him lock in something like that. Last pick now for Xiao in the mid lane into the Ahri. Could be a Victor. Could just be an easy Victor. Yeah, in fact, I think it's probably a Victor lock here. It's a good matchup into the Ahri. You've got a Scion to stand in front of you and a Lulu to keep you safe. I would personally lock in the Victor.
The problem is you then have Nocturne kind of going in by himself. So they've got maybe the Scion to follow. The TF allows you to join the Nocturne a little bit more. You can play towards these side lanes, particularly towards Elk, to try and push this Corki, this Nami, into the dirt as many times as possible.
I don't like it. It means they're now a single threat composition. You're single threat composition into an Ahri that can reach you. Yes, you have the Lulu to back you up, but single threat compositions just haven't worked in League of Legends for quite a long time now.
Yeah, I agree.
There's just too much ability to shut down that single target with the extra damage. Even supports are doing significant damage to like take up like an extra fifth of your HP or something. You know, if an army hits you with a full combo, it'd be really nasty. So WE, all they have to do is take down the Inara. After that, they actually can win team fights. So it's on Elk to be solo carry Xiao, who will do some damage on the TF, but it's not going to be crazy. I would have much preferred the Victor, even if it did leave GJ kind of alone on his way in there. Gonna go into a quick ad break, folks, to make sure we don't get any in-game as well. Thank you everyone for supporting us, and let's get into our second game of the day.
Need these globals to work well. Do Weibo Gaming. Again, you can consistently say reset the Scion, have him gank down the lane with the ult, then teleport back top, the Destiny Gate come down, Paranoias come down. You can be relentless with those picks and jumps bot lane. Can absolutely look to snowball the game out of control, and then maybe the TF and Nocturne can pick up a bit of the carrying slack as that snowball gets rolling. But I agree otherwise. I think if it's an even game state at 15 minutes, the damage could get a little problematic into what is very slippery, very pick-heavy comp from WE on their own right. So there's... Hold on those gyros for a second, just seeing those level ones. A little too much, we'll let the crowd have their word. Gyros finish up for now. Boss bomb lands onto Elk. Throws out a Ebb and Flow. Does end up in the slightly worse end of that trade though, because Lulu at level 1 can still be quite obnoxious, it must be said. Lands another good Glitter Lance.
Yeah, the help picks obviously, it helps her own auto attacks there. I think Erho just messed up that W there. Did he cast it on himself? Actually not sure about that. No, he didn't actually. Looking at his mana bar, W has cast a lot of that, so still has that one up and available. Red card from Xiao, who locked in. Laning matchup for the RETF, it's fairly non-interactive. You know, TF builds enough HP and builds with Merc Treads early, so Ahri doesn't get to do that much. He'll use to make sure they don't eat a hard trade from saying like a Glitter Lance just before they hit the level 2 in bot lane.
It's the one. Tyrion is around here, has gone towards a Raptors Wolves start to be down here a little early and then can reverse clear back. Can look to potentially jump onto Elk and Hung. Doesn't have the red buff, but will be at level 3. It's a very fast level 3 with this clearance. I'm going to turn up potentially onto Elk, who burned the barrier early. Shield vault in, a flash away. Will not save this Yunara, even with the Kanmei step rolling. Tyrion should now escape. The Glitter Lance not going to be allowed to pick up that kill, and Hung has to flash out as well. Nicely done there with Tyrion and the early pathing.
They're very savvy. Goes Raptors, Wolves, Raptors, Wolves into Grom to get that level 3 at the earliest possible bot lane level 3 timing. Does that very well. Go back out onto the map, gets himself a longsword after his early duties. JJ on the other side, he was just going from top to bot. Very good read from Tyrion. Gets something into bot lane. Again, that's 2 games in a row now where he's ended up getting value bot lane. Erha picking up the kill is a little annoying for WE. They prefer it onto AD carry, particularly because you want to get towards stuff like Sheen and like your Phage and the tier at the same time. Early gold actually matters quite a lot for the Corki, so it's sad for him to not get it. But then again, something like the Nami getting further towards the Imperial Manda earlier, something that we've talked about a fair amount on this channel, and that can be quite valuable.
Karras got potential shove. They know that this Nocturne is around. They're going to try and jump onto this regardless. The shield is there. Shield vault buffers through the fear well. Charm follows. Now JJ is likely going to have to flash, and does indeed. The gold card comes back, but flash for flash there from the junglers. Tyrion should pick up this Scuttle Crab, though actually with the Siren shoving up, maybe says, I can't keep playing this. Xiao, who's going to be too annoying.
Yes, it's the TF on his own. The Siren's not even coming. Xiao, we'll see. Hang on. If a Charm lands out of here, that's a problem.
Charm and well, Tyrion going to potentially get some damage. Flashes away, gets the wild cards. Xiao, who wins the 1v2.
He does, and I think he flashes just to make sure that he can outplay something like a Pantheon E. Great play from him. Just walks to them and says, you don't have the cooldowns. I've got the HP. TF gets himself an early kill. Great play from Xiao.
JJ now gets to invade onto that blue buff, which hasn't yet been taken. So that's going to give a big advantage now over to Weibo's jungler as well. What looked like a really good start from Tyrion, a really good contest on that Scuttle Crab. Doesn't really allow the full kill onto JJ, and Xiao, who just knows he can run him down. Yeah,
JJ gets himself a really large advantage from that. Despite the kill, I mean, it's going to be double Scuttle, I think, and the camp steal away. So going from kind of 0 to 0 very, very quickly there, Tyrion. Should have just backed off. I think they just thought they could get the immediate kill. Went for the empowered Q, and then Xiao flashes away. Ends up getting the kill with a wildcard. I think he thought I think the flash was because he was trying to predict an E coming out, but might have still been on cooldown from that last play.
Also going to call it out. Karras had no mana, used his charm, then couldn't throw out a Q or a W, so actually the Ari's follow-up was next to nothing.
That's sad. That's sad. Had the charm, nothing else. Of course, the electrocute was already used onto JJ before that too, so no. Extra damage coming through from that rune. That's really flipped the game, Sam. It's really flipped the game. JJ is so more powerful than he should be now at this point. He should be able to walk in and just steal this.
Walks up, can potentially look for the smite fight. Tyrion does win that, but he's going to get feared there. The Aegis Assault allows him to buffer out of that, but that realistically means that red buff, which he still hasn't taken, by the way, he's going to get none of his buffs.
No, he's not. You're absolutely right. I think he took red buff on his way out the last time, and then he... Oh no, is this his first red buff?
Yes.
Oh, it is. It's just his first red buff. God, I thought he got that on the way to the onto the Scuttle. No, he didn't. God damn, you're right. He hasn't had a single buff this game.
Yep, that's the scary thing. That'll be another red buff over to the side of JJ. I was a little nervous there as well because Xiao just hit 6 and was leaning well towards that jungle. The Destiny Gate angle would have been pretty scary. Of course, Karras also had 6, so would likely been able to follow to some extent, but would have been a bit scary. So I think with that, Tyrion just had to back away. Now down 15 CS, and that's after what was pretty good stuff from him. I thought the pathing was good. I thought the contest on the Scuttle was good, but the play after they didn't get that kill onto JJ has really scuppered them here.
And it just goes to show how much jungling can be just that knife's edge. And actually, when you see a pro jungler at the top level going even, it's still a tail at some point, because it's so easy for a single mistake to snowball into moments like this. I think that Tyrion was very greedy with some of the stuff that he did. Obviously, the bot lane, that was a good play, but then the top Scuttle play, that's what's really set him behind now. If you get that early kill and trade it for a camp, that's fine. Falling behind like this, though, that's the point where the Pantheon stops to function.
Yeah, I agree. They kind of chased it a little bit too far for JJ. I think having people come over, but you just need to play for the Scuttle Crab is what you need. Fortunately down towards the bot side as well, despite Elk dying for first, but he's actually up gold. It'll be a plate to their name is kind of what it'll be from.
I mean, did get that first blood, but and we did talk about the nature of Nami getting a gold lead isn't actually a bad thing, but would have quite liked it on the Corki who really wants to get, early tier, early phage, components like that, which actually make a huge difference to him. JJ's gonna be so happy. He's gonna be so happy here. Hits that level 6. Xiao has the level 7 too, so JJ Xiaohu going to be very easy for them to just walk across the rift now. And I don't think Tyrion is going to have the brawn to fight them off. I don't think he's going to have it. He's at the, he's okay with the double long swords and then Ruby Crystal as well in terms of components. But I think that JJ is going to be very happy to just walk across the rift and just ult people for free.
That'll be the one. Tyrion going to try and pick up this, but again, actually has it reset on. That's slightly sad. But still, we'll be able to pick this up. I think this should be 6, and indeed it is. But he's still down a lot of CS here. That's 28 on in the jungle. You look at the items in the inventory for JJ right now. This first ult could really sting. Charm doesn't quite drag Xiaohu under the turret. And the gold card kind of denies too much follow-up anyway.
Yeah, I think it's just trading skill shot for skill, or like CC for CC. Not really much else you can do there. About to get towards his Malignance is Karis. Karis at the start of last splits particularly, I thought was really good at kind of playmaking from the ditch, where your team's kind of in a bad situation, but you can do something. He was very good on stuff like the Azir, on the Rise.
Carly back again.
Carly was fantastic from him. He struggled to have that same playmaking now. We might see an all-out onto top side. We'll see. No, I think he's too far away from the turret cube. Didn't have that angle. Grub started. Cube, 2/3 HP, potential gold card here. That's going to put Dari down low.
She's dead.
Whoa, even with the ult and the flash, just immediately dies. Karis goes down. TF ult now loaded up, and that's a pause, and we'll find out what's happening there. I would imagine that was from... Well, I don't know. I mean, it's gone on. Typically, the camera, when it goes to one side, you assume that's the person who called the pause, but we'll figure that out. Because it's happened in combat, that's a bit spooky. When it happens in combat, you assume it's a bug. It might end up being comms issue or something like that, but typically you don't pause in combat.
No.
When there's issues, when there's like minor issues. So presumably this is something which is actually like, okay, well, comms have gone dead or something. Into a pause and we'll figure it out. Question in chat, does that mean we can simp on everyone else? Yes. Yes, I mean, within reason, yes.
Amber is in chat and will bonk you.
Yeah.
So just, keep it to reasonable levels.
Yeah.
Reasonable level.
Just, Poor WE, Sam. Poor WE. Look, I think that Tyrion looks... look, his early couple of levels has been okay. And then there's just that one mistake which tends to explode, really.
Did I have to word it like that?
I was intentionally avoiding some of
okay, I'm sorry, isn't that the term that would you like?
Yes, Sam, but the wording is like in the context.
Okay, yeah, fine. Unintentional.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, God. Hammers at the ready. Bash. Bish, bash, bosh. Bosh. So, first series today. This is that series between the two teams which are really looking to keep themselves off the bottom of Group Ascend. It's obviously been a very difficult time for both of these teams. Weibo, we expected Weibo to be challenging for world slots, and we'll see whether they still can coming into next split. But they're not top 4 right now. They're not top 4, which would be, that benchmark for world slots from LPL. And I think that given what they showed last split, I think that's a huge loss for them. I really think that the change of support has hurt them, Sam. The more I think about it, the more I think Hung for Erha was just a big mistake. And I haven't seen anything across this series or any other which makes me think that was the correct decision for them.
That's fair. I will say I thought Hung had a pretty good game on the Rakan last time around. Did a lot of work to disengage the Bard. So at least within the context of this series, I think both supports have played pretty well. But I don't necessarily know whether... The issues to me run deeper, and I'm not sure a support switch would really have solved the issues regardless.
But even then, when you're talking about, Hung did have a good Rakan game. It's probably one of his best supports. I mean, I remember it from back in 2023 on LNG from him being a very important champion for him. But even in that game, he was, I think Erha ran circles around him. Even with that, I think the Bard was, with less support, doing more. I think that, yes, it was a more powerful champion in the meta, but he was doing fantastic on that. In this game, we can see that, the early pathing worked out quite well. Goes straight into the fight, and it's a fight over Grubs. One kill, no kills just yet, going into it.
They have indeed. That'll be a decent amount of damage back onto Erha, who does likely fall here. Tries to bubble to speed themselves up. There's the heal, the tidal wave, but JJ has a wonderful spell shield to completely invalidate the CC. The wild growth onto Zucker means that the Scion is nowhere near going down, and WE lose 2.
They do, and Karis before it, technically you can call it a 3 for none, and it's going to be the Grubs over to the side of Weibo as well. I can't remember if they got, well, we didn't see actually whether they got the first one, so it may be 3, probably the two, I think. But WE, very poor contest from them. We'll have to see a replay of how that exactly happened. Looked like Cube just kind of got isolated as well. Bot lane kind of split apart. It's very difficult contesting Grubs on red side because of the terrain. The fact that it came straight out of a pause as well is just insult to injury, really. It's just very hard to set up for a team fight out of a pause like that. You know, you can't communicate during it, and sometimes things just explode because each individual player has had some time to just like sit and contemplate, really.
Yeah, and you're not really supposed to talk or anything. That's kind of part of the rulings. You're supposed to sit there and be quiet. Have a look at this replay. So basically, Karis pings a ward, immediately gets jumped on, and the collapse immediately gets collapsed upon.
Nasty as heck. So then what happens on the other side? Because I think at that point, they have no way out of this. It's very, very hard. So Tyrion jumps onto the Scion. They get the all out, and JJ just walks with them. Like, it's not like they can do anything. I think as soon as Karis dies, they realize, well, we're in for a very long walk home. No real support there. Maybe you could have tidal waved earlier. I don't know whether you can really predict that coming down. Maybe you had to just tidal wave earlier and just say no follow-up for you. Can't remember if I might have been the problem with the Nocturne having the spell shield though. Problem there. Anyway, W now behind 2.5k gold. First game, I thought they fought very well. I think that in this game, Tyrion's early mistake around that scuttle crab leading to his death threw the jungle matchup way out of consideration, and now it's just unplayable, I think.
Well, trying to speed his way out of potential trade there from Bout. Now, I actually can think about ulting, but that Aqua Prison entirely invalidates the transcendence of Nymaera, and so that won't lead to too much there.
Yeah, looks like, I think that there's one grub to the side of W. I think Tyrion got one of them.
He did.
I actually wasn't paying attention in the replay. Oops, my bad. Cube has flash, does have all that. I mean, this individual matchup in top lane still not bad for Cassandra. Eventually, you will end up whittling down the sun because you have the Omnivamp from roll out. So it means that you tend to win versus other tanks. Cassandra versus other tanks has always been pretty scary, actually, because he can kill you in a way that basically no other tank can.
Bonking a little bit harder there with that pullback on the Q3. Then it gets to potentially look for more on top. Force will force the ult from that Scion. Good case in point there.
I wonder whether Cube could have held on to his ult a little longer, or ult in a different direction so he was still behind the Scion when it came to between him and his turret, so he'd have to ult down river or something like that. Him being able to ult towards turret feels like a bit of a missed opportunity there from Cube, because of course if Scion just gets to trade ult for ult, he's actually fine with that.
Yeah, does feel great about that one.
Does LEC play later today too? No, LEC is on Saturday, Sunday, Mondays, this split, I believe. I think that's the case. I don't know if they're doing 3 series days anymore on the Saturday. They were doing that for the first bit of the split. I've lost myself a little bit in terms of the scheduling. Barely see. Probably I on second jump.
Oh, lovely combo with that Destiny Gate. A decent Aqua Prison, but again, this mid jungle looks incredibly practiced on this combo.
They do, but I mean, there's a good combo onto JJ there on the other side. They did use both ults for just one fish.
I don't think it matters. They've got hung here. Karis is going to be forced to ult away.
Oh, that's just lazy from Karis. Look, if you use... hang on, now they're jumping bot lane. Elk is going to get jumped on, but he has flash and ult and barrier, so it's a failed play. I actually think that there was an opportunity for W to do something, because both ults were used to kill just the Nami, and I don't think that was enough. WE don't manage to make the play on the other side of it, though. Karis has to blow his ult for free. Tyrion has a pretty ineffective ult as well. Shadow can even tank 2 turret shots to go get himself the mid lane quest, because Pantheon just uses ult too. He's completely safe to do this. He knows he can just like lock in the next wave and he'll be fine.
Yeah, it does indeed. He'll drop a couple minions there. I think if the red card had been locked in, he would be able to pick that up. Went for the blue card, which is good individual damage, but no AoE, and has to leave that one all alone. Right, while we got a second.
Yes.
What's wrong with the word bonk?
It's used as a, you know,
no,
an innuendo.
Boink.
Sam, both are used to do that, Sam.
That's just... No, I don't... No one ever uses it that way.
Yes, they do.
They use it... You
okay. Cube is getting bonked in the top lane.
That's the flash. Wherever there's a flash forward from Elk, who will indeed ensure that Cassandra falls down.
I swear to God, about Rob across the... Sam, yes, it is.
People use... Literally, the meme is bonking someone who is being too ridiculous.
Look, in chat, you can let us know your opinion. Yeah. What do you think bonk meant in the case which Sam used it? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying the meme is with the dog, with the little Shiba with the baseball. Bang, bang. To be specific. Like you need to add the I to the word. I just think this is clearly ridiculous.
I can't believe that I'm having this conversation on air with you, Sam. I can't believe that you didn't figure this out, you know, like,
I mean, okay,
you know...
I can see how it works, but you can say the same thing about saying, how many ways are there to say someone is drunk, wasted? You can say, like, trolley cart and it works.
Yes, but the problem is, this is, like, on the top list of it, Sam.
I just don't think that's true.
I don't know how much more we're gonna get out of
Because
this
there's the hammer, right? Like that's where it's used. It's
Yes.
more in context. I think it's used more in context.
Okay. Look, there is a lot of etymology of this, and I don't want to like sully this game with it, Sam.
I get how it works. I just think it's used more often in a different context. Am I wrong that it's used more often in the other context?
Sam, I think there's a very important bit of context that you're missing here, but like. Look, there's a scuttle crab. Wow, that's really interesting. Jedda's gonna get that. He's 1.6k up. Oh, incredible. Big lead across the board. Charm's gonna be spell shielded. Weibo, almost a full item up in key rolls here. Yeah, Foxy's got it in chat. Yeah.
I mean, yes. Correct.
Yeah.
Which is what I was using it as the context for.
But it brings it onto that subject matter because it's been co-opted by the other side of it.
Because it was being used.
Sam, Herald is happening. 3 people from Weibo on there. They have their globals back up. W each looking to contest, but I don't really think they have the stats for it.
That'll be the one. Over towards the Heralds. That'll be the TP in as well. Xiao, who immediately gets aqua prisoned and jumped on. That could be a little problematic. Does need to flash on out. They will teleport Cube in as well. And no one dies now in this 5-man group. This gets a bit more into the title. It buys a bit of time. JJ with the attempt to steal. It's won by Xiao, who both smites early, all out. Drags JJ to a difficult spot when he manages to escape nonetheless. Zucker now in the front line. No one can pick up the eye of this Herald. And Weibo, yeah, the pick is good, but the 5v5 still looks tricky.
That was a bad team fight from Weibo. That was genuinely just bad. WE, the only reason that goes worse for them is the fact that Tyrion misses an uncontested smite. There was not a smite from JJ on the other side of it, I believe. I think he used it earlier into the fight, which meant that it was just smote, left at about 50 HP, gets taken by Xiao, who of all people. I don't even think that he had the smite loaded up for himself either. Xiao, who ended up teleporting in alone, Weibo very nearly ended up losing the fight and the objective there, despite the fact that they have a 5,000 gold lead. We've said that, Weibo. Objectives are not their friend. Objectives are not their specialty. WE, I think they'll consider themselves a little unlucky there to not walk away with more from that play.
Xiao debating going for this little invade here. Blue buff being threatened. Tyrion does have the smites. He can need to burn it. Yes, he is. That camp reset and does that. Head over towards his walls. Will not lose that, but of course being forced all that way back means the dragon's going to get started by Weibo. Cultivation of Spirit allows Elk to power some of those autos. Have a look at this replay again, because this is a very aggressive TP with the ult, and it doesn't really work out that well.
Because the Sion's not in position yet. Sion's not in position, and the Nocturne doesn't go in either, so it's Xiao who going in alone. So what happens with the smites here? Did JJ just early smite? Oh, he didn't have... No, JJ just... I don't know what the hell happened there, Sam, but he just ends up getting taken by TF. I only saw one smite on the objective itself.
Yeah, I think one was on cooldown, so my assumption is it was used in a fight somewhere else and therefore wasn't available.
Yeah, I didn't quite see that. About clearing out mid lane. Dragon, of course, went over to Weibo. WE not really finding much purchase in any of the objectives, which is scary, given that it's Weibo typically failing around that point. And as we were saying, this is a very important game for both these teams because for W, it'd be their first game win, not even series win. Game win is so important to them. Weibo on the other side of it, just getting themselves a win so they can maybe, if they find form in the second round robin, bounce back from the bottom of the table. That'd be so important to them too, because you win this here, and if anyone's legend lose later today, which I imagine they might do versus NIP, suddenly Weibo are now actually... It would be in a position to fight up from not just 7th/8th. They'd end up being pushing into mid-table just about at that point.
Indeed. Tyrion into the enemy jungle for the first time this game. Congratulations. maybe look for a play with Karis here into the mid lane. Wild Growth is available. Elk also got both summoners, but there is no Mikhail, so CC chains will be fairly deadly. Trying to jump onto Elk, the heal gets him to back away with the Kanmei step speed up as well. Lose about a third of his HP bar though, that means Hung, potentially in danger, has to flash the charm angle. Here we go.
Too far, here come the double globals on the other side of it. Lichbane in for the TF, and he's pretty tanky too.
Oh, my
He's
days.
stand and deliver, take half the HP off of the fish.
Grand Starfall comes on and known as immediately turned into a snowman, and I'm not sure they want to build one, they want to break him down. Kick over some poor kids' work there. Does manage to back away, left pretty low, and so the globals come back and forth and back again, and Tyrion's left at about 20% but does not fall. The problem is WE left with lower health bars, and Weibo gets to stay out on the map and threaten this mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, the early Lichbane completion from Xiaohu, because he's so fed, really hurts the damage profile of WE. It means that they don't just have to focus on the Yunara anymore. The TF is actually a threat for this point in the game, beyond what he should be. Xiaohu, very tanky. They can't even one-shot him on the other side too. W doesn't feel like they have any damage, and now they have to deal with way more than they were expecting.
Yeah, again, 2,500 gold lead for the TF is always pretty big, and they're actually going to TP behind here. That could be a bit spicy. Oh no, it's just Karis looking to get down towards this lane. Now, Xiaohu does have flash, just about, I think.
No ult from Karis.
It's just coming off cooldown now. That makes things a bit interesting. There's that flash coming across the charm after. Needs to try and run away, does have a potential gold card. They don't have the damage.
They don't have the Ariel. They don't have the Ariel, so Charm didn't have the ability to get the extra damage needed. He just walks away. Full stacked Rod of Ages, that'll do it for you. Or rather, just the 9 stacks ends up making a bit of a difference there. Ult going forward into mid lane, and Corki's caught out.
Unspeakable Horror is going to be proc, no ability to find the way out with the Valkyrie forced to flee the other direction. Elk survives, gets himself a shield. They can run at Tyrion, who needs to flash away from that. Turret falls, but it will still be Elk who goes down, taking that turret aggro slightly. Unfortunately, Karis is now roaming, and you did lose your AD carry. Don't think they can chase, not quite in range.
I think Elk thought JJ would take aggro, and he could do that. Sam, I don't think I need to tell you this. That was not the case, and he ends up dying. Bricks just got lobbed at his head from the tower as it fell down. I was like, nah. One last one for the road.
There's a good charm. Nice play there onto the Nocturne. The Wild Guard's got forward, but Hung is about to die as well. Flash away, and that's now 3 kills to WE, kind of out of nowhere.
What were JJ and Hung doing there? Sam, we're getting into silliness now. Still a 5k lead from Weibo. They're still very far ahead in this game, but maybe let's not give over more gold than you need to. Tyrion actually just picked up like 1,000 gold odd.
Yeah, he did. I half wonder, with 3 people dead, including the jungler and support, whether you could have just looked at Baron and a Hail Mary there? I know Cassante was bot lane was the problem.
Problem is they don't really have that much Baron damage is the problem.
Pantheon Corki's not
Corki was dead.
Oh yeah,
so that
I thought Corki was back out on the map roughly. By red
maybe
buff.
a bit. I still think it's a little, I don't know, maybe possible, but I think maybe they would have still get run out by Xiaohu and Zuko, and it still would have been a problem. Especially with the HP that they had at that point. Dragon coming up now. Weibo looking for the Dragon Threat of Soul later.
Now indeed going to look at that. 5 seconds on it. TP in. Karis looks at the charm, can't quite find it. The vision control not awesome for WE. At least they got a couple ones in their own jungle. Zucker though with a massive shield courtesy of a Soul Furnace and an empowered TP. Can I just walk forwards at people?
Yeah, and the gold cards are really threatening. Xiaohu can just keep charging him up. Turns out that he's really strong with help with the fire cannon. Definitely hurts. Xiaohu in that kind of mega status of 3-item TF where just the gold cards can be so threatening. And W, what do they do around this? Now, in Weibo, objectives typically not their friends, but will that really impact this fight?
Maybe. Again, the W, we've got a decent team fight comp. We saw one good team fight around from them. Around that kind of herald that looked a bit dicey from Weibo. Path making useful cube to escape with a CC, but then Zucker times zone angle as Karis comes over the wall, looks to get in. Elk survives the initial play, has transcended himself in the cultivation of spirit as well, trying to play for this dragon rather than the fight. They secure it. That's the whole point. Tyrion left low, but not down. The decent shield, the double arc of Ruby, the Aegis Assault buffers through a lot of that. Zeka left low. The gold cord. Flash. Mikhail's required the decimating smash. A little short, but still, Weibo managed to back away, and the CC chains are beginning to get a little ridiculous.
And the damage just isn't there from WE. There was a charm from Ari onto Elk. He managed to get the charm through onto the Yunara. Just no follow-up and no damage with just the charm. I don't even think the Q ended up coming through. from Karis. He has that second item, Shadow Flame, really trying to be assassin with the extra magic pen and the high AP of that second item compared to something like a Protobelt, which does far less damage. But I mean, at this point, you're behind too much gold. Elk has a Lulu behind him, and Weibo don't really feel threatened. I mean, they walk away with the dragon. No, they don't get any kills, but it's not like WE made much of a dent in them.
And look, if you want to carry, you should have put a ring on it. Hasn't picked up the Dark Seal, you know?
True.
Sell your soul for stacks, guys.
Yeah. I like that. I like the cut of your jib, Sam. It's doing. For those of you who don't know, cut of your jib is a sailing term.
It is.
The jib sail is a sail. People that don't know that, Sam.
You basically have a kite at the front of your boat.
Well,
rather than a regular sail.
Isn't that the spinnaker? Well,
that's the spinnaker. You're right. Jib is the front. Is the sail after
yeah.
the main sail.
So if you've got the mast, and you've got the sail which goes out from behind it, that's your main sail. The one in front of it is your jib.
Yeah,
and I don't like the cut of Tyrion's jib here.
Yeah,
Sam.
I don't either. I think it's being cut into shreds.
Yeah.
Shreds, you say?
Starboard, run over the small ship in your way.
Yeah. Yes, I have right of way. I am the largest ship.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, basically people who are starboard to the wind or whatever it is have priority on basically right of way in the sea. That doesn't matter if you're up against, like, you know, a cruise ship. You know, if the Northern Line Super Cruise were in your way.
It's been cancelled now, you know?
Well, but
someone called starboard on
it. Well, thank God, Sam, because if it was in your way, I don't think they'd care for starboard.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, there is actually a fight about this Baron happening. It's probably more relevant right now. I'll hold on my memes for a second or two. 4,000 HP. The Paranoia turns the lights out, and Ari has to ult away, immediately hit with the gold card. It's just denying her any entrance. That's a decent look into the pit briefly from Tube. Got the Nami behind him, buys him a bit of time. JJ left a little low, but Elk flashes away from the Interpol Strikes part 3, but now all out. Karis looking for the angle. Has only got so many charges and time left on his ult. It times out! It timed out! Doesn't get to buy any more time, and then Karis has to flash out of the pit, and Tube's going to go down, but into the back of the pit, comes in with the ground starfall. Unfortunately, Tyrion might ride in, but he's got no silver helms to back him up, but unfortunately, no Techless to offer him the magical aid either, and he falls. Alas, the Druki win the day.
They do in this case, Sam. Back to the Phoenix Flames they shall go and reforge themselves for another attempt on probably, Sam, another day. 10,000 gold, Baron buff, WE don't manage to get the good contest. You know, they lose Tyrion very, very easily. He has to ult back into the play at the end of it. Sion's going to ult for Wave Clip to push out the spot side. It is a full court press. Waves across the map, racing towards W's base.
I think at this point it's a full court squash. There's not very much left of WE to press. I'll pick up this tier 2.
No, Sam, it's full court. That's basketball, not squash. What do you mean? It's very different.
Pickleball in this modern age, Alex.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought that was a thing.
I've never played. I want to give it a go at some point.
Yeah, isn't pickleball like tennis-like?
Yeah, basically.
But with like heavier bats and slower balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a fight that happened. We should probably talk about that. Yeah.
It's the picture right
Elk
now.
just kind of goes mad. Charm misses again. Karis not really landing the big charms this game, Sam.
New. Good flash, I think, also there. Worth noting from Hung. Gets him out to safety. Zucker gets jumped on, pulled back. Well, we might see a little bit more stress. Because this is a relatively tanky Sion who is finally beginning to lose some HP, sort of.
Sam, he's
got an ending is fair!
He doesn't even retreat.
Oh
he just keeps going forwards.
There's an Arc of Ruin coming on down onto Cube, who again is looking a little bit flat for that. The interstices are reducing right now as the double kill comes on forward for Elk, the mightiest creature in the forest, Stanking. Maybe we should have been talking about Wood Elves as a triple kill comes on forward for said Elk. Orion by name, Orion by nature, blows up a few more people, gets himself the quadra kill, denied the penta by his mid laner, but Weibo Gaming will march onto these inhibitors and secure the 2-0 victory.
Yeah, it could have fooled me to see he was a war dancer, skipping, sliding, and slicing his way through the team fight. Elk 8-2-6. He was the main carry of this game, and carry he did, Sam. WE back to the drawing board. The replacement of Monkey and Tyrion not hitting the mark here today. It's a difficult scenario for them. Weibo, I don't think they'll care that much, though. Getting a win on the board is important to them. Only the second of the split so far. Important for them. If anyone's legend were to lose later today, and we'll see whether that happens, I think that Weibo will be very happy to say, well, actually, we're even on 2 series wins. We can work with that.
Indeed. And I think on the whole, Weibo relatively happy with today's game. I think they played, particularly that second game, felt very clean. We were a bit nervous about the TF Nocturne. Actually, in fairness to them, they were relentless pulling those ults. They got the snowball, and then actually, as a result, having that kind of snowball topside gave you enough damage to not be a one-threat comp, which was the concern, right? I think if they hadn't snowballed early, we'd be at this point where the TF is just tickling people and they don't have the damage to win. But they managed to get that snowball working, and hey, if you're going to draft a comp like it, make sure you're pulling the trigger.
Hey, Boosted Beast, how's it going there as well? WE, yeah, game 1 much better. I think game 2, you know, Tyrion made that mistake around the scuttle and things went very, very badly wrong. I think that the top side of the top side of W were poor today, Sam. I don't think Cube had a good game. I don't think that Karis had good games. I think that Tyrion, I'm not going to blame him. To be honest, you can't blame much of the team because it's such a different outlook for them.
Yeah.
I think that was actually good today, Sam. That's the sad thing for me. I think that WE are dysfunctional, but I think that About and are the best part of the team. And personally, I think that is the better part of that duo as well. It's sad for him because I actually think that on the whole, game 2 aside, I suppose, because that was such a snowball game, I think that was better than Hung, the replacement for him on Weibo. And that continues to show to me, actually, that, like, you know, this guy does deserve a good place within LPL. I feel sad for him. On the other side for Weibo, yes, it's a win. Was it the cleanest thing ever? I mean, there were a couple of missteps, but I don't. The problem for this of this series for Weibo is that how much can you really tell from a series like this? How much do you actually learn?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, part of it is, I think, obviously, JJ and Xiaohu had a good series. I think that's really nice to see. I think Hung, actually, on that Rakan in game 1 was also pretty excellent. Played a pretty solid Lulu game here as well. And that is good news. And Weibo have been close to winning series before, but it's not been consistent. This was the cleanest we've seen them, though I think part of it, unfortunately, is there just wasn't that much threat in the early game. Game 1, there was a bit, but again, they tried to put Elk down and got 100 gold lead for their AD carry. That was it.
Well, that's the end of our first series here today, folks. My name's Alex. This is... Yeah, I'm Alex. This is Sam. I can't believe I had to question that for a second. I was trying to get the... look, my brain is not really kicked into gear all the time, folks. It's been rotted by far too much League of Legends. And we cast a lot of it here. We have cast thousands of LPL games here on this channel. And we have cast them, not just sat here and reacted to them and co-stream them, because there's no official broadcast anymore. Broadcasting is our job, and because there is no official broadcast anymore, we figured that you deserve a high quality cast. We consider ourselves that, and we're also some of the most, I think we are the most experienced LPL duo in the world right now. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, you're only going to get this here, but the only reason we can do this here is because of your support. I know this is a marketing pitch. It is that, because this is our job. If you do have any bandwidth for a like, a comment, subscribe, it costs you literally nothing. It makes a huge difference to us. If you're lurking in the background or watching on a third-party stream, it does make a big difference to us. And if you do have the money for a Twitch Prime, which is also free if you have it free this month, or donating to the Ko-fi or doing a gifted sub or something like that, it makes a huge difference to us because, again, it literally pays our rent. Very lucky to have some very, very generous donators in chat. You've done an awful lot for us. Thank you so much, Star Trevor, as well, with that in mind. Again, literally every little helps. You know, Berlin, I would imagine, like, our living expenses per month are probably about, like, $1.5 grand per month, right? Because it's living in a capital city plus groceries, and that's on the low end, right? So that's what we try and make out of the stream somehow, some way. We'll see whether we can make that. You know, we're trying to make it work, balance the books, and see how things work out here. You know, this is trying to support 2 independent broadcasters, basically, and we hope that you're enjoying the show.
Indeed. You did not have the most fun this series. I think we can see that there pretty well. And again, thanks, Al, for that full spiel. Indeed it is. Basically, guys, if you actually want to support a streamer where it matters, you know, your individual donation matters, this is a great one for it. And indeed, 4 months for this one. I appreciate the Prime sub. Thank you. Definitely not Darth Vader.
Starfather, right? I thought it said
I am your star.
I miss it.
I am your space dad. I am your Starfather.
In this break, I just realized I probably do want to play a game after stream today. So I'm going to go over to your PS5 and I'm going to start downloading Cthulhu.
Go do
So after the stream, folks, I'm going to stick around for a while. I'm going to do a game review of Cthulhu with Monty.
I'm doing
Legends of the Round Table.
Yeah, I've got Marvel Rivals this evening, so I probably need to keep my voice in check. Every Wednesday I've got that going on.
Sure. Do you want to drip out the second series then? It's all good. I mean,
if you don't mind, actually, my voice is still feeling a little bit funny after that last game.
If you just chill out.
I absolutely will do. I was just debating whether I could do one more game or not, because I would like to, but... Yeah. Of course I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to download that. Hopefully.
It'll be alright. Download, not upload, anyway. Oh. Thank you for the sub, Michael. Appreciate you, him. Thank you for coming and helping us out. It really does make a huge deal. Oh, there's a bit of a hype train going on. My days, that's quite cool. Well, any more for any more? I'll turn the camera on. The crazy things I do for support. Embarrass myself on camera. 369 lover. Hell yeah, Michael. Maybe one day I'll be back. We'll see. Appreciate you, Corey. Thanks for the support. Toss a coin to your casters, oh viewers of plenty. And Qatari, oh, look at this. Thank you, guys. Sometimes the shilling matters. Sometimes the shilling matters. Thank you so much for the help. Appreciate you all for the assist. Much love. Wow. W later, indeed. Appreciate you looking after us. Is a huge bit of support. Damn, missed the first game, but at least it's here for NIP. Yeah, that should be a good series, actually. I'm a little sad I'm going to not be around for it. It looks like it should be really good fun. Really good fun. Okay, so I'm hyped, as you should be. Hey, thank you, Shamrock, as well. I'm hyped. You should be. Harold's here with a lot of NIP support as well. Much love. Sir Gelatinous the Thick gets a subscription. Are you a cube? Are you to be found in a dungeon? Do you dissolve metal weapons? Gonna get an interview right now, so I will shut up and let them speak for themselves, at least briefly.
先跟大家打个招呼吧。大家好，我是 WBG 上单子卡。欢迎子卡。那首先恭喜你们在这个 BO3 2比0战胜了对手。今天这2场整体打下来感觉如何呢？今天队友们都配合得很好吧，然后很轻松的就取胜了。大家都发挥得不错。其实，在赛前呢，就有听到子卡选手提起过，竞技游戏这样的比赛状态有起伏是很正常的，更重要的是大家怎么样去调整提升。那从这就能看出来队伍的心态还是很稳的。在这种情况下，具体你们又做了哪些改变呢？比如说阵容的构建，还是游戏内容方面有所调整？首先是每个人就是很努力嘛，把自己的状态给拉好。其次是在我们配合中要寻找一个连接的点。在这样的团队协作上面做得更好，今天比赛中也是体现出来了。那今天的赛事我们来到了26.08版本，在这个新版本呢也有一些
I'm not sure you're legally allowed to ask those questions.
比较关注的调整会是什么？因为我觉得目前版本上路已经很好玩了，也不需要发生太多改变了吧。上路很好玩，那不得不提今天的第一局，你用朗姆斩获了 MVP。这个英雄今天我们有数据看到了，在上个版本呢，它的胜率高达75%，BP 率也是来到了55.9%。你觉得这个英雄在现在这个版本的它的优先级怎么样？强度会不会还是非常强？因为前面没有杰斯的出现的话，其实朗姆算是一个比较 OP 的英雄，但目前有杰斯、维恩这种英雄，其实选择也没那么高吧，但是这个英雄的机制就很棒，算是一个不错的英雄。对，我觉得他在今天的第一局也是体现出来了。第一局就是非常典型的你们上野的配合，从上路打开局面，并且你的朗姆也是在中后期的时候能反馈到团队嘛？你觉得第一局自己是发挥了一个什么样的角色呢？特别是在哪一波的时候，你觉得是最关键的？首先是掘木打朗姆这个对决的话，其实掘木死一次边线就赢不了那个朗姆了吧？然后姐姐很给力抓了一波，导致我很优势。然后在边路主动权的时候，就是我就有很多选择。对，是的，这种选择不仅在边线能帮助你们有更多的时机和判断，那我觉得你在团队的发挥也是非常优秀的。那其实第一局我看到的是大家30分钟就结束了比赛。
Going to London for one whole day.
分钟的时候
，do you need
23分钟依旧没有拉开太大的经济优势。那从队伍的视角来看，你们是觉得
Do you need restaurant recommendations?
超胜券的呢？特别是你们的运营端，我觉得做得非常好。应该是下路姐姐锁巴鲁那波吧。那波之后感觉就已经无限优势了。在这种情况下也是游刃有余的结束了比赛。那来到了第2局，我们看到的是完全不一样的进攻节奏。从前期很早的时候就确定了优势，特别是潮虫那一波，大家当时沟通的重点是什么呢？ 当时好像是中野府抓单了一个人，然后朝鲜团我们是4打3，就很好处理了。
人数的优势可以帮助你们在这个资源坛取得了优势之后呢，滚起了雪球。那我看到的不仅仅是野区的博弈，各线的这样的交锋，而且更有意思的点是在最后后期的时候上路。
You need good bar recommendations can help with that as well.
当时你们队内有没有这个点有什么有趣的沟通话题？
当时已经在喊5杀，然后卡牌好像一个 W 不小心伤害太高了吧，可能前面太肥了，然后就把人头收掉了。
我们说到了卡牌这个点，我相信大家脑海中都会有画面啊，比如说他一些似血逃生，以及又血又厚又肥。那今天呢，我觉得微博5个人都有发挥。在这里最后一个问题，要不要给自己的团队队友们加油打打气，来应对后续的挑战？
希望我的队友继续加油吧，然后在季后赛复仇那些输过的队伍。
有这样的心态，我们也期待 WBG 一定能在接下来的表现越打越好。再次感谢兹卡来到我们。
A little bit more of his train to go still.
比赛之后找回状态
15 seconds.
好的，本场我们的赛后采访
15 of the second.
告一段落了。同时，我们也谢谢现场所有的观众。
Bangers
接下来
and
的时间，
mash.
让我们交还给解说席。
I think English food gets highly slandered in a way that people just don't quite get it. If you've not had a good English pie or a good roast dinner, English roasts are better than anywhere else in Europe. I'll stand by that. Maybe the French do it really well too. But just good lamb roast dinner or pork roast dinner with the crackling and all of the fresh veg that you've picked up from a farmer's market somewhere. You get more veg variety than you do in most places in the world. But it's done well, it's so good. I think people just kind of assume it's like jellied eel pie from some dodgy back street in London and go, what the hell is this? And don't get me wrong, there is that element too. Nice. I know what bangers and mash, but I think potatoes involved. Bangers are just big sausages, is the honest answer. What do we have for the hype chest? Shy Ghost. Woo! Choo-choo. Congrats to Shahu for getting player of the game. I think that's correct. He was a very good tier. Okay. I will say I've had phenomenal eel, but out in Japan. Unagi is so good. Basically, it's incredibly tender, very meaty as well. So it's quite tasty. Highly recommend it. The only thing is I'll say don't cook it at home. The reason the Japanese don't eat eel at home is it stinks out your house. So people often go out to eat eel. It's a bit like mackerel. If you have smoked mackerel, it will smell like smoked mackerel for a long time. Show who gets the player of the series. Solid LeBlanc game. Good TF game. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Good work from him. I don't think the majority of the meals are dodgy. I think it's just the ones that for whatever reason get airtime on. It's a bit like saying the only American food is McDonald's, which is just not true. And I think it's just been a bad PR thing as part of it as well. And then people assume things that are just European food aren't British food. And it's it's both. So a lot of the roast dinners. Also the very good bakeries. Very good cakes, scones, clotted cream, really good fruits. Treacle sponge, blackberry and apple pie, crumbles. All that stuff is really, really good. Cockles, yeah, true. Get a lot of that from the sea. A lot of the British seafood's really good as well. Plaice, Dover sole. Yes, obviously fish and chips is a thing, but again, that's sort of fast food. That's something. Yeah, we have this thing called McDonald's. Congratulations, you have found the lowest common denominator. Let me go. Do you want to sit down and I'll figure it out? I never do remember.
Yeah. Also, if you do remember, don't say it on broadcast. Gosh, Stanley's his chair really high up. I tend to have the chair way down here. Yeah, cockle is a kind of shellfish. Yeah, honestly, look, British seafood is really good. It's really, really good. I think a lot of people underrate that. Because, for instance, I think Angie has never seen the sea or never been to the sea in Germany. Because it's only in the North Coast, right? I believe so anyway. But in the UK, I don't think you can get further than 100 miles from the ocean, or 70 miles from the ocean, something like that. So pretty much everywhere you do have British seafood is good but so expensive. Not true. That's not true. The seafood is actually The seafood is actually great if you use lesser eaten fish, and that's a big thing for overfishing too. This is my biggest like piece of advice for people who want to eat more seafood: don't eat the popular fish, because there are plenty of other fish which is way more like ethical to eat, way better for the you know, for ocean habitats, but then also it's a much more cheap. If you go to like some of the, there are some like pretty cheap fish you can eat. Yeah. But like if you're eating like cod, haddock, tuna, salmon, stuff like that, yeah, it's expensive. But if you have some like lesser eaten fish, also mackerel's quite overfished as well, sadly, because I really like mackerel. But yeah, honestly, my biggest advice if you want to eat more seafood, eat the least popular fish. And most of the time, they will taste very similar, or they'll still be really good. And you'll find ones which you like from that. And like, yeah, if you can get like frozen fish from tons of different places too. Yep, same with meat as well, for sure. I mean, that's why, like, obviously, like, we kind of balk at, like, oh god, why are they eating that, or blah blah blah. Like, actually, it's just, it's using the whole animal, right? What's my go-to less popular fish? Oh, I haven't actually gone fish shop. I don't eat a lot of fish myself nowadays. We had Vietnamese river cobbler, which was really, really nice, but that was actually quite expensive because that was from like a specialty place. In terms of less popular stuff, that pollock's pretty good. That's not as popular. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Oh yeah, cool. Right, let me figure out what's happening out with that download thing.
It's downloading already.
Perfect. Cool. I need to change one of the settings on there.
Happen. Carp for deep frying. Yeah, I'm just not a massive fan of deep fried fish. Honest answer. Like, fish and chips is alright. I mean, monkfish is now popular, but monkfish is phenomenal. Very tasty. Have we changed the audio over? We have not. 1 second. Oh, come on. There we go. Cool. Just talking about the Pengu Garen. Vinegar, white sauce on fish and chips. Ooh. I think I still prefer tartar sauce, but partly because I'm not that big a fan of vinegar. Not gonna lie. Not a massive fan of vinegar. I'm not a salt and vinegar fan, in general. Don't think I've ever tried carp. Salmon is incredibly overfished. I'm not that fussed about eating salmon. I'll say that. I can come down here. Boop. Get a little bit bigger. There's that Durex ad. Meep. Oh. I got duped into trying. I'm assuming that's about carp. Most of the fish I eat gets steamed and some lemon juice to bring out the freshness of the fish. That's about it. It's easy to overwork fish and change the texture. Yeah, very true. Very true. It's also, you need to follow the 90-10 rule pretty heavily, right? Like skin side down, cook it 90% of the way through that way, and then flip briefly for the other side. You end up with like very like rubbery fish, which is really rough. That's just not nice. Steamed is nice, but I don't do a lot of steaming myself. Poaching it's pretty good as well. Nice. Hoya at the back there. Hoya. Indeed. There we go. A little bit of a look in over what I believe will be Shenzhen, NIP's hometown. Yes, Harold? I see my name. See, in Louisiana, we just have fried in cornmeal or stewed fish. I have to expand my palate since moving away. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Louisiana does phenomenal fish food. Gumbo's a thing. Ah, Harold. Thank you. Sorry, I was busy doing stuff with the Call of Cthulhu thing. Harold, despite your interesting taste in fish, you are still an excellent cook. Again, I wanted to thank you for cooking for us all when you came out the last time. Did a wonderful carbonara. Even brought some of your own sourced wine as well, going, hey, this is what we're drinking. It's going to be really lovely. Great night. Great food. Appreciate you. If you ever get the chance, ensure that Harold cooks for you. The man knows his way around a kitchen. Most fish is good fish. True enough. Though I say I don't do that much fish. I have to say I should do more. Pollock's is quite expensive in Berlin. Honest answer. I do despise canned tuna. I'm not a massive fan of canned fish in general. I have tried Surströmming, the stuff that got someone banned from Berlin apartments. Yeah, Surströmming is the fermented canned fish, which is arguably the worst smell known to man. And I have tried some. And it's an experience. I've also tried the fish water, and that was possibly the worst taste known to man. It was sin in saline form. Like, truly atrocious. Put it this way, the fish turns into paste when you smear it, so you use it as paste on toast.
Can I have a coffee first?
You can,
also, I
yes.
think I double bought the game, so I needed to get a refund for me at some point. I need to go to the PS account.
Okay.
So I ended up spending like €100 instead of 50.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, that's a thing. It is. Anyway, anyone's legend out onto stage here, up against NIP. Samuel, my brother.
Yes, I'm getting you my coffee. I shall take my mug with me as I go.
Okay, let's get sat down here. Anyone's legend have won against NIP pretty much every time that I can think of for this era. Of course, before that, Anyone's Legend were a lot lower ranked team. I think, you go back to 2024, probably looks a lot better for NIP. Anyone's Legend, though. Oh, wow, I'm actually just completely wrong about that, too. Huh, well, 2024 was also ALs. Okay, well, ain't that a different state of affairs. Yeah, NIP haven't won since 2023 against this team. Since 2023. That was a long time ago too, actually. Ah, that was when they had Shadow on their roster too. Yeah. Yeah, that was the first roster of NIP. Long time ago. Obviously in 2024 they picked up Rookie. Alright, I gotta go change the camera lens around as well. One person camera on. The NIP was, yes, the NIP roster was very different, but that was also before anyone's Legend were like nearly at the top either. I think that was actually the Xiaohao roster, where Xiaohao was actually very good, but it was Xiaohao and ZDZ, I think it was, but that team was just kind of cursed. Okay, right, camera changed over. So big things about this matchup here, because this one is actually quite an important match, folks. NIP are the team from the LPL, which you may not have heard of, but you absolutely should do. I think NIP are the team which is currently on the international scale under the radar right now. They're such an interesting team. Anyone's Legend are slumping. I think that AL can lose this game. Go into the interviews and we'll hear more from them.
大家好，我是 AO 的 AD Hope。
近2场感觉队伍的状态不算特别的稳定嘛？上场结束之后大概做了怎样的调整呢？
就是回去之后好好复盘，然后整理了一些英雄的优先级。
那今天面对到 NIP， 你觉得取胜关键会在哪里？
我觉得取胜关键的话，今天就在我们下野的对抗吧，因为他们下路是比较强势的，就是能打赢他们下路应该就能赢。
好，我们一会儿 BO3见。 同样，我们也请到的是深圳 NIP 的打野选手郭，也请他跟大家打个招呼吧。안녕하세요。네， 먼저 인사 한마디 부탁드리겠습니다。
大家好，我是深圳 NIP 的打野郭。
今天在前采之前啊，他跟我说稍微练习了一下在前采用的中文，所以我们这一次的前采将用全中文来进行。那也想问一下，最近的队伍状态是有渐入佳境，越来越好的。那近2场的发挥，你会给大家打个几分呢？
我给自己5分，但是以后我可以8分、9分、10分。
感觉大家都会在进步的一个程度上。今天要面对到的是 AL 嘛，针对他们的一个打法风格，你觉得今天队伍最需要注意的部分是哪些呢
？AL 喜欢他占为主，所以以后最要小心打野。
还是要注意打野的一个对位，是不是？好，我们一会儿精彩的比赛见。
I just realized microphone was muted. Good to hear from those players. Let's get on to our second series of the day. NIP, I'm not muted anymore, Amber. I realized that. Don't you worry. I know I was muted. I figured it out already. I figured it. I figured it out. NIP onto the stage at Shenzhen, not here in Xi'an anymore. NIP, one of the most exciting teams in the LPL. I think if they continue on this form, NIP are an outside chance to go to MSI, and I think they can actually go to Worlds. That's partly, though, because anyone's Legend do not look good. Anyone's Legend look fallible. They look weak. They're a team with a bunch of issues with early laning phase and their early game in general. Very talented as they get later into the game, but they don't always survive through to that point nowadays. Thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate that. And between the games, I'm gonna have to go shift the PS into here and set up the capture card. It'll be a thing. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Oh, do you mind closing the door as well, please, Sam, if that's okay? Cool. Oh, that rocket is really loud. Okay. Let's get ourselves into the second series of the day. I think NIP are favored here, folks. That's the big thing which I can tell you. I think NIP are favored. And I think that anyone's Legend have a lot of flaws they need to see. Need to see through. They have a lot of flaws that they need to fix. I think that Tarzan has often been given unplayable game states, and as we saw in their last series they played as well, like when he was on the Skarner, just impossible to engage. Nymaera believes in God Guon. The thing about Guon, and I know you like doing this partly in jest, right? The thing about Guon is that he is, I mean, NIP can live or die by him. Guon, if I were to, look, I find the solo lane is very interesting and there are a lot of stories about them, but the thing about NIP is they are determined by having perhaps the second best bot lane in the league. I need to run some adverts, by the way, before we get into draft. I should have done that earlier. Oh, we didn't run pre-roll, that's my bad. I'm gonna run them now, just so we don't get them now. I think that their bot lane is the second best in the league behind Jackulov and Feng Yue. And I think that Guon is creative as hell. You know, Guon is one of the most creative junglers in the entire league. And what that means is that... Duo doesn't have a sub, so she's going to miss out on the actual talk of it. But yeah, I think that... Hey, how's it going, Scorpio? Look, I think that Guon is very, very creative. They live and die by this jungler. I think that there are huge issues with... when he gets behind, he looks to the creative plays and he dies instead. But this is the person that will find those creative engagements in the same way that ended up beating JDG. So sorry for the ad timing there. It will be the start of draft, which will be hit by that. That's my mistake. I should have done it during the break, but I was too busy dealing with PlayStation stuff. We should have ran the ads earlier. It happens. Miscommunication between Sim and I. Let's get into game. Samba beats for our first draft of Series 2. A lot of our... Well, actually, a lot of other picks put away. We don't expect Varus, Lulu, and Lucian banned at this point in the draft. You don't expect that. It means we're going to get Rumble, Ambessa, Jarvan, Pantheon, Ryze, Xinjiao. Pantheon banned away to stop the Pantheon Ryze. Ashe Seraphine, of course, too. Didn't see that in that first series, but that's still around, of course. So what's your pick? Rumble first pick has typically been the way. I think particularly with... Varus banned, I think you're happy to just pick the Rumble top lane. Hoya would normally play the Varus into it. Now, he has shown the Onivia into it too. Do they really let the Rumble go? Maybe they do, and they just pick Sion into it. They're pretty happy with Flandre playing Sion. They lock in the Ashe to NIP look for something on the Seraphine. They don't have the Lucian Milio, which has been one of their kill lanes, so Sam has been pointing out before. Assume and draw, average 1.5 kills in lane per game. Absurdly strong. Rumble, potentially a Vi for Guon as well, because he is very, very good at the Vi. Rumble Vi is an incredibly good combo. Could be the lock-in. NIP's top lane played a bit of that in the past. It's a very, very strong top lane. You very rarely get both of them on the same team, actually, even though the Vi is a little less prioritized. Ooh, thinking about a Nautilus lane. That would be interesting. Helps with the Rumble, of course, set up into that. Because you're not going to get, well, you're not going to get Lulu lanes. You don't have Varus, you don't have Lucian. Jhin Nautilus could contend with them. They lock in the Jhin very quickly. You know, Jhin Rumble is a scary duo. It's kind of been like, it was, for a while it was the discount Varus Rumble, because Varus is better at what Jhin was doing. And Varus is still banned, obviously, a lot, but the Jhin will be able to lock people into the Equalizer, which is the real draw of that champion. Jarvan locked in for Tarzan, very aggressive player on that champion. The Encore will be layered over the top, so we have two very good engaged pieces for anyone's legend. Nautilus locked in for draw. So second round of bans. Anyone's legend, they should ban away the Vi. You could lock in Skarner for Guon. It's not a bad pick in here. We'll give you a couple of really good engaged pieces, and the Jarvan doesn't like playing into the Skarner that much. Sion banned away from Flandre, Vi away from Guon, no surprises there. Again, we're wondering what's going to happen with the Skarner. Guon, not entirely sure what he's going to look towards after those are through. Could it be a Wukong angle? Ryze away from Shanks, he's been pretty successful on that. Care might be looking at Yasuo. It's pretty bad versus the Jarvan, good versus the other stuff. Yasuo though, I mean, it's been. I do remember him playing the Yasuo Diana. Was a big time for him. I remember that actually. Yasuo Diana was fun in general for a long time. The knock wave, the moon breath combo. Okay, Nocturne banned away from Guon, so it's probably a Skarner. I think you're locking Skarner than the last pick mid. Care could look for something like the Akali, could look for something like the Zoe even. Flandre might look at Jace, but I think it'd be dangerous. Oh, Shinzao's still open. Yeah, I'm wrong. Shinzao's still fine then. You could have gone Shinzao or Skarner. Skarner better at the front line. Not really sure what that hover was, but sure. Shinzao locked in. Anyone's legend, what are they looking at? So, Yorick into Rumble's not the easiest. I think he just goes Jace, doesn't he? I think he just goes Jace. Oh, Ambassador's up to you. I forgot about that. They might have looked for the range advantage, but with the Ambassador you can get onto the Rumble a lot easier, and of course onto the Jhin too. Not bad versus the Shinzo, you go straight inside the Thunderdome. The World's 25 banner. Went to quarterfinals, 5 games versus T1 of course. Last pick of anyone's legend. Now do they go towards something like... Well, Kali's quite dangerous into the Nautilus. I'm not sure you want that. So, blind pick for Shanks mid. Annie would give you extra engage. That's a lot of engage from anyone's legend at that point. A lot. And then Care, what would he go? Guess you can Aurora. Akali's quite hard into Akali. You don't always want to play that. Victor's too immobile. Care, what's he thinking? I suppose you could go for something like the Aurora or the Ahri. Talia's a little immobile, but you do get quite tanky. Gives you the global threat. Okay, we get Care Talia. Didn't expect that in game 1. But there it is. Okay. As we were saying, NIP. I actually think they are favorites in this series. I think anyone's legend, I think their top lane and bot lane laning phase has been poor. And I think that the early game does not make up, it does not allow them to survive through to what is typically a much better mid and late game. Now, Flandre versus Hoya, we'll see how that works out. Hoya is one of our weakest top laners within Group Ascend in laning phase. So Flandre has an easier job versus him than he would do versus many others. Assume and draw, Jhin Nautilus does have some kill threats, not as much as something like the Lucian Milio though. See what they do. Again, they do end up getting a huge amount of kills per game in laning phase. Very powerful bot lane. I think that they are second only to Jackie and Feng Yue in 2v2. No slandering my commander. Look, I've cast Hoya longer than you've been following this league, mister. Hoya, I love him the bits, but he's definitely not a player who specializes in laning phase. He's tried to, you know, with stuff like the Varus top lane. He definitely brought that out more than any other top laner here in the LPL. But Hoya, one of my reservations about NIP is, can they use their bot lane while their top lane is just not as powerful in lane as the other LPL top lanes? And onto the rift we go. Jayo is soon to follow after. Oh, stack at level 1. Where's that hook coming from? Oh, that's a bad hook. That's a bad hook. And now suddenly the E's coming through. Guon walks forward. That's bad from drop. That's probably a dead Care. It's not. It's not. Guon could potentially die here as well. Flashes away. Good 4-man queue. Okay, AL have themselves an early ingress. That's a huge loss for NIP. That hook was just not it. The hook was just not it. Tried to get onto the Seraphine. Probably should have just gone to the Annie. Potential play over here. Do they look for the hook? Not just yet. Not a good block at all from Draw. Draw really bad level 1 here. Misses that hook. Doesn't body block at the volley for Assume there. So they take the damage and the root from the Seraphine. Not good from Drop. Needs to step up. Had a good split so far, but typically he's been good on the Enchanters, the Engaged Spells. We haven't seen them from him. In fact, actually, has he played an Engaged champion? This split, not to my memory. I'll have a quick look. RIP better team. I don't watch a lot of LPL. I've been watching on CBLOL. Well, okay, so I think that anyone's legend, if you watch from last year, you might just say they're the better team. NIP have been the better team this split. What have you played this split, Ninja Pajamas? Yeah, there's one game of Nautilus and one game of Shen from Drop. Most of it has been Enchanters for them. So there's a lead from anyone's legend. Guon's going in to invade jungle. Of course, Tarzan versus Guon, a very key matchup here. And he could come over. Gets hit by the knockup. That's really bad for him. Guon has no flash. He's going to die for this. Bad invade by Guon. Awful start from the game from NIP in this early game. AL have clearly done their research. And Guon goes way too far. No support. We did say he's a double-edged sword. Very creative, but definitely has a low floor to him as well. It seems like we're getting the former... we're getting the latter rather than the former in this game, sadly, for NIP fans here. Anyone's Legend, our big worry about them was early game. They're already up 1,000 gold. Anyone's Legend, we thought that they would fall apart perhaps in laning phase, but as we see here, Flandre doing fine versus Hoya. Bot lane, Assume and Draw, not having the easiest time versus Hope and Kyle on the Seraphine either. Not a good start from them. I was really hoping for a better early game from NIP, but AL have come in well prepped. The level 1 was better played from them. Guon is going to be so far behind. Does he get double scuttle from this at least? Not sure on that front. And this split so far, AL 2 and 3, NIP 3 and 1. Had some really good games of NIP. I hope they don't get shaken by this. No Krogs there. Guon is so far behind. Barrier away from Hope. Again, we did say that the bot lane of NIP has been really, really good in laning phase. Oh, doesn't even get to Raptor respawn. He's so far ahead. Has the first blood. Has the camps up. Guon is being taken to task by one of the real jungle greats here, Tarzan. Tarzan gets bot scuttle as well. Guon clearing out the wards there. This game is already, I hate to say it, folks, this game is already looking very, very hard to play for NIP. You know, bot lane and top lane didn't even get into that laning phases before Guon was so far behind. It was a good plan from anyone's Legend. You know, the level 1 worked out well. I think that they executed it better is the big thing, though. You're a Blood Bowl player too, Gorilla? Nice. I enjoy myself some of that draw. Potentially looking for a hook. Ah, you see Guon's coming down into the lane here. Hope realizes he might be in danger. Oh, you don't want to walk too far over that one. Looks like the clean feed just having a little bit of a stutter here. We're going to go for a quick refresh and see if anything comes out of that. It'll hop forwards in just a second, probably. Does Hope see this coming? Does Guon get around vision? We don't know where he is yet, actually. Could be a flash out of here. The wave protecting him right now. Guon's still on the back bush. He's too far to follow up. Hook misses. Play dissipates. Anyone's Legend. That was the only place they could have got ganked. Mid lane was safe. Top lane was safe. Can't flash for an auto attack there. Guon has to recall. He's got nothing up. What else does he do? Root lands coming out of here. Does have a flashback up. Hook lands on top and flashes into it. You did all the hard work and he goes down flashing in a straight line to a Nautilus hook. Obviously went to the Prometheus school of running away from things. That is poor summoner usage. Tarzan walking across the rift. It's still, you know, not good for Guon, who's now doubled in CS by Tarzan. That is disgusting from Tarzan in the jungle matchup. That was the only play which NIP could have made. Oh, Hope, that's just not the play, I don't think. I don't think that's the play. Yeah, Guon is so far behind. The thing is, Guon couldn't do anything else here. You only have... That's a bad flash. I guess he's very close range. It's very close range. It's hard to react from that. Perhaps you're too harsh on the initial part of it. Just shows the wrong way to reaction flash. When you're that close, it's just a problem, right? Blood Bowl's fun, Gorilla. I think you'd like it. Blood Bowl is a very good game. It's basically American football with Warhammer Fantasy. It's great. Another Scuttle Crab for Tarzan. Full level up already this early into the game. Shanks gets a good trade onto Care. Hook misses there. Would have been a good trade onto Hook. Gets the slow there. Shtoom looking to see if he can get last auto attacks out. Now it is a big bonus, the fact that, you know, NIP are ahead in bot lane. As we said, we think that Assume and Draw might be the second best bot lane within LPL, behind Jackalove and Fengyue. NIP, we expect them to be the better team here than anyone's Legend, but the early game plan, part of what has been a big problem from anyone's Legend, has been really, really good. And now Guon, you know, their T1 challenger player, obviously came over from Detonation Focus Me from LCP last year, where he struggled. He was not good on Detonation Focus Me last year. After such a, you know, amount of hype was built up around him coming out of T1 challenges. He has been a key playmaker for NIP. Now, as we said, it's not the full package yet. Doesn't really know how to... doesn't really know that discretion is the better part of Valorant points. You can see that in this game. Went to bite off more than he could chew on that Raptor camp. Died for it. Put his team into the hole, really. Dragon is going to get started by them, though. Guon's still a full level, more than level behind Tarzan is opposing number. Hope map hacks will spot out the gank squad in the tri-brush. Kale walking back towards mid lane does have his own ulti. Watch this though, because of that map hack, Tarzan ends up getting the blue buff as well. So again, retains that 30 CS advantage. Anyone's Legend, a very good start for him. 1,000 gold advantage to Tarzan, taking the grubs on the top side, farming very well. He also has himself camps to go back to. Guwon has a wolf, has a raptor, Gromp respawning, then wolves. He will have some camps after this. Can he take the last grub? If he can get one of them, no, can't even get that, because the first grub taken by a jungler is double XP. It's big. Raptors are alive, that's what they're highlighting there. Guwon would finally like to get himself trip down the back at bottom of the map. Now, what the pings here are, Tarzan might go for a raptor camp again here. He might actually end up going for a raptor respawn, knowing that Guwon is going from top to bottom. If they can get another raptor respawn, I just don't see what Guwon does. He's level 6 now. Yeah, Tarzan wants it. That's why the observers were highlighting it. Probably one of the Chinese casters was highlighting that. Well read by the Chinese broadcast there. Not so much I would have immediately thought of, but looks like instead they're going to leave it alive. Does Guwon get his first raptor camp of the game? He gets his first raptor camp of the game 9 minutes in, which, for those of you that don't know, very late into the game to get that. This is like his third camp, third respawn. Missed the first 2. Believe it was, anyway. Tarzan needs to translate the gold into leads for his laners, though. I think just making sure that Guwon can't make any plays is already big enough, no? Although Assume is really far ahead. Hope has not been having a good time here. Hope and Kyle, their laning phase has been tragic. Last year on stuff like Sivir, on Kai'Sa was much better for them. I missed the cannon -1. I think Jorah could have killed that with a hook as well. Okay. Ooh, flickback does land, but he doesn't get the E out in time. Panic flashes, presses that after. Shank's doing okay into Care. You know, 10 CS lead. Somewhat expected when the jungle is so far ahead. I think Care has done quite well, actually, to keep himself even because of that. Tarzan onto Wolves. 30 CS ahead, of course, still. Full level and a half up onto Xinjiao. Well, you're doing fine in lane versus Flaunter. As we said, both these top laners poor in lane comparative to players like Breathe, Bin, I suppose even 3 seasons. Suyan, of course, too, coming in this split. Now, these top laners, they're like, oh no, I hope he has flash. He might have to use it. There is an ult available. Ult comes through, flash away. Dot steps out of 1. That hits there, and the fourth shot kills. The Encore comes across. Hope, a poor game from him. Tarzan coming forwards first. Does have his first item. He's very strong, but Assume is behind him. Kyle, the Enchanter, just behind him too. There's an ultimate from Guwon. He might have to use it. Gets it a little bit late to cancel out the combo. If you can get a shutdown, that'd be a big play, but no. Tarzan too far ahead. Bad ultimate by Guwon. I think Assume maybe could have put the 4th shot onto him too. If Guwon had ulted him out of the combo just a little earlier, predicted it, might have lived. Doesn't manage to do so. Tarzan had the flash anyway. Guwon goes down. Not a great game from Guwon, sadly for him. Very creative, but creativity has not helped now. What was going to be frozen at turret there? Oh, he walked over a Jhin trap. That'll do it. So they spot him walking across there. W lands because it's activated by the trap. Gets hooked. I mean, he had flash, had barrier, dies. It's not been a good game from Hope so far. Flash for the passive, allows the 4th shot to land. Encore came over. I mean, Draw does die for it. I think that Guwon had to leave through bot lane. I think it's a mistake for him to walk him into Cataclysm range. Just take the 1-for-1. No res duo. So 1,000 gold lead still for anyone's legend. Tarzan now 2 kills to his belt. To his name, I suppose. Under his belt would be the correct phrase. Come on, Alex, you can do this. Hex Optics in for Jhin first item. We're seeing more and more of this. We do see the Ghost Blade first for the mobility and the better raw lethality. I know a lot of people say that Ghost Blade isn't damage. I think it is. Ghost Blade is really good damage because it gives you 18 lethality, not the 12 of Collector. Oh my god, it's another captain. He's 2 levels up. Guwon has just been... Guwon has been taken to school, folks. Tarzan has been holding a lecture here. Oh, has he gotten behind Care as well? He does have flash. Care's dead here. Can you get out with an ultimate? I don't know if he can. Flash is away. I just don't think that's what you needed to do, though, okay? You just needed to not be pushed up there in general. No vision. Kill for Tarzan, who has been running the map. Anyone's Legend last year were all about Tarzan and Kyle, really. And if Tarzan can get off to early starts like this, it really shows you more of what Anyone's Legend should be as a team. This is the only team which kept their roster together from 2025 in the entirety of all 14 teams from the LPL. We expected them to be the best team in the first split. They weren't, far from it. They've lost Tarbe. They changed coaches again from last split to this one too. Dragon started. Guon's 2 levels down. I don't see how you can play this. Teleport coming in from both solo laners. Smite comes through from Tarzan. Is quite low. Can Assume finish him off. It's very low HP. Has himself no flash. He'll die to the last auto attack. Shut down for Assume. Big damage. The equalizer pretty good too. Lots of flashes. Blown on the other side. And Hope, well, he didn't have his to begin with, so he'll go down. Dragon to Anyone's Legend. 2 kills to NIP. And the shutdowns go to Assume. He's 3,000 gold ahead of Hope. If he wanted to, he could buy an Infinity Edge second item. He could do that. Teleport came in from both solo laners. Very good fight from NIP. Now, the Dragon goes down, but Tarzan is not tanky enough to survive the Adrenaline on the front line. That is a huge amount of gold. 800 gold from that kill. Equalizer was good too. Burned down a lot of people. Forced flashes out of everyone there. Of course, Flandre, the one person who wasn't. That's a big play for them. Big play for them. I believe that was Coach Maizijian in the back line there. Sorry, in the back room there, not back line. Was previous coach course for LNG last year, which was not a good time for him. Hook, not going to land onto Hope. Was on Weibo from 21 to 22, LGD before that. Was on Victus Gaming, actually. Back in 2015 and 2016. That was when they went to Worlds for the first time. That was the Cacao roster. Oh, that's a good arrow right onto Jungler. Is going to go down again. Guon has not had a fun time. Assume does have a Serpent's Fang built up second. Really wanted that one. Not able to save the play, though. It feels like Assume has been really pulling his weight in a way that he hasn't done in previous splits. He was unremarkable in previous splits. This has been his breakout performance. He has been fantastic even here in this game. Guon, we said he was that, again, volatile player. We're seeing the worst end of that here. I mean, I'd much rather him be that kind of player than someone who doesn't impact the game, but this is the negative you have from it. Hex Gates back out. Because of the Hex Gates, AL can't contest on the Herald. It means they're too close to it. Who has the gold from Anyone's Legend? Well, it's mainly into the pockets of Tarzan, as we were saying. Assume Serpent's Fan second. I mean, it's going to help against Ambessa, help against the Seraphine, help against the Jarvan Shield. I was wondering whether he should go for quote-unquote more damage, but Serpent's Fang's good lethality. It is. It does work against a lot of the team, and he's the only one that wants the Serpent's Fang. If you can buy it first time, hell yeah, why not? Does delay some of his crit scaling. No Storm Razor or something like that. He looks like he's going for the Rapid Fire third. And again, it's not that tanky team from Anyone's Legend. I do somewhat understand. It also gives you extra movement speed from the Zeal. Tarzan out onto the map again, over the back of the wall there. Can put himself, well, doesn't have a wall to put down there. I mean, Hoya does have flash. Might be in a bit of trouble here. Might just look to get the flash if they can. He has to flash the combo. I was wondering whether Dunk would come after. Good flash there from Hoya. Wait, hang on. Oh, sorry. He had the empowered recall from Herald. I was like, wait, does he have mid lane quest? What the hell? No, that was just the empowered recall from Herald, which you get once per game. Herald slams into mid lane turret, doesn't take it down. Ale with a slim gold advantage, but having a jungler so far behind is a huge issue. Can they get onto Guon? He has to flash away. Another flash down from Guon. They have been bullying this poor jungler. He's been so key to NIP. Does he have to ult away? I think he does. The ultimate not going to be in range from Tarzan. Was wondering whether there would be a dunk opportunity to take him off the wall. Assume how much damage is he going to do for the single ult? That's not bad actually at all. Gets the Q on target. Another. Wow, he can actually just kill him here. Hope. First shot goes wide. Second one onto the Gale, onto Hope and the wave. 3. Where's the fourth shot? Thought that was going to kill. I thought that was going to kill. Hope holds his nerve and holds his flash, but he won't be able to defend mid lane turret. The AD carry different has been absurd in this first game. It has not been close. Assume very far ahead. Uses the Herald empowered recall right here. Smite comes in from Tarzan. Of course it does. Can't even take that away. It started resetting. There was no smite from Guon. Couldn't take that away. There's a full Zeal in for Assume. Again, a full item up on Hope. He's gone for the Storm Razor. Really wants that first auto attack for the movement speed. I mean, Assume can't be far off a rapid fire cannon. If he gets himself to fire cannon in Infinity Edge, then Assume is going to start shredding. Really, really shredding. Not that he isn't already. Assume can carry a team fight here. Jump forwards. That's the encore flashed away from by Draw. Still not in a great spot here. Tarzan might just go in. Gets the knockup. Dunk onto 2. Guon does the pull the ultimate. Might need to. Chooses not to for now. Shanks on the side. That's going to be a flash away. Not a flash away. I'm actually surprised that ultimate missed to begin with. I thought he was going to nail it straight onto him. Ultimate miss from Flandra. Not really had to talk about him much so far. Not really had much of an impact. Dragon is alive. That's what the big plan for this was. Take the kills and go into Dragon. Angels Legend looking for their second one. Ult missing. Assume pushing mid lane. So they're not looking for the contest. Just looking for the delay, but they've stuck around too long. They've stuck around too long. The flickback's not bad, but why are you contesting when your AD carry isn't there? Hoya will back away. Doesn't have the equalizer. Used that already. Assume trying to get down some damage. But NIP, you should not have contested without Assume. That was a mistake. Good punish by Shanks. Very good play before that from Tarzan, who's been the clear player of the game so far. Man, that level 1 is going to haunt NIP, but Guon's pathing afterwards has just been dire 60 CS behind. That is a crazy amount. Shanks has no flash. Getting ran down in this top side. Teleport coming through from Flandra. Is the flick back going to come through? Yes, it is. I think that will be the death of him. The W lands dead. Flandra, no ultimate. He's just teleported up, and I think he's just going to die. 4th shot. The solo laners of Anyone's Legend caught out. And suddenly NIP get themselves a couple of free kills. The Dragon, of course, went to Anyone's Legend before this. Wait, do they have Hextech Dragons sponsored by Sky Motor? That's genuinely very cool. If you have different dragons sponsored by different sponsors, that's cool as hell. That's actually kind of lit. Yeah, I'm no corporate, sure, whatever, you can call me whatever. But actually, that's a cool thing. Having each individual dragon being whatever. Huh, cool as hell. Shanks got the flash force onto Guon. He's really struggled here. They shouldn't have contested without Assume. That was a mistake. Boy got jumped onto afterwards. Realistically, they shouldn't have been contesting without Jin much, much closer. Jin is 3.3k up. He's got a full fire cannon, got the pickaxe. We'll see whether that goes into... I mean, it should be the Infinity Edge. I don't think there's enough armor stacking or HP stacking for him to go LDR 4th now. Especially in this point of your build, you really don't want to delay your build that much. And if you have the gold lead, folks. You have the gold lead. I mean, the gold lead is Assume. Without Assume, they're actually down the same gold lead they have as a team right now. They're 1.5k down without him. That's funny as hell. I have cast the grand majority of Assume's career, folks. I think I missed his first year. I was on LPL in 2023. And for most of that time, Assume was a player which was stable but not special. Now he is one of the best AD carries in the league. His glow up cannot be understated. An incredible year from Assume. His 2v2s have been great. His team fights have largely been great too. Occasionally caught out in late game, but very, very solid on the whole. Care pushing out that top lane. NIP have such long range follow up with the Jin W, which is hurting like hell now. And then Talia, who can ult into the play, and then the Rumble, which can ult into play. This does remind me a little bit actually of NIP 2024 when they had Rookie. They would play these long-range global compositions with stuff like Talia, Ahri, Aurelion Sol that could just engage from very... I know that Ahri's not global, but the long-range follow-up champions. Assume because he's so fed, clears waves so quickly too. Can't understate that. Doesn't need the traps to clear the waves. You don't need that going into mid and late game anyway, really. Or late game, really. Kaz gone for the Leandry second on Talia, it's worth noting. Guon getting himself finally a camp in the enemy jungle. Ain't that a luxury? 2 items behind 3k to Tarzan, of course. While Zapping Hang ult lands onto Hoya. Did have flash, chose not to use it. Hopes coming forwards. I think Hoya just chooses to use the flash. Clears out a little bit of the wave, gets that last cannon minion. Free kill onto him. Didn't want to use that flash, I suppose. Minutes till Dragon. Hang on, if he just... well, he has a... he has tier 2 ultimate. I don't think his ultimate's 60 seconds, though, is it? Might be up if you delay the dragon spawn, but that's a good pick-off from AL. You know, they pushed it on that bot side of the map, getting good vision control now around the objective. Anyone's Legend, their objective control has slipped in this year. Even last year, their objective control was not fantastic. Assume not going to get Infinity Edge in time for this next dragon. I almost wonder whether you give up a dragon knowing that 4-item Jhin is so much stronger than 3-item Jhin. And not that he isn't strong now. Do you just say, don't fight the dragon, don't flip it? Because you still have a gold lead. Get gold somewhere else. Wait until Assume gets 4 items to see what happens. Jin's not recalling, doesn't have that Infinity Edge completion. Recall too soon before that last one. Oh, thank you so much for the stream streak, by the way, Solly. Hey, I would party if you get 100 stream streak. Of course I would. Don't you worry about that. Thank you so much for the support, folks. Makes a big difference. Dragon spawning now. AL doing this thing they always do. They had control over the dragon, and they said, no, we're going to leave it later. They are, in tactical shooter Counter-Strike terms, they like to retake the site. Sets in advance. Tarzan could jump over the wall. It's all about Assume. Cleanses through the arrow. Smites away. And anyone's legend, well, hang on. Flash for the Encore. Gets onto Draw. Do they get much off of that? I suppose they'll get the kill onto him. Felt a little bit off there. Ult forwards. Flandra had to do that because the flick back was coming. Jump forwards. Assume flashes out of the Cataclysm. Much better for Guon. He flashes and he dies. Where's the ultimate coming through from the Jhin? Does he get the last shot on target? No. That was the third one. Has to Protobelt behind his teammates. Flandra very, very low. Hoya goes too far forwards. Assume is trying to do the damage, but he's the only one that can. NIP punished for their overstay. AL, it was not a great objective setup, really. Dragon did go to NIP. Assume is alive. But how much can he really do? NIP, I think Guon has just been dead weight in this game. Hoya died before the objective. Not a great team fight from them there either. 0 and 3. 1 kill participation on a Rumble is not what you want to see. Of course, so much of it came through Assume anyway. This game really is just Assume or bust. Kez had an okay time of it. He's not been doing too bad, but he's not been able to hyper carry till he's not really a kind of player that can right now. I mean, it's a good pick onto Draw. I thought it came a bit late, though, was the thing. Ult through the Talia flick back. He would have gone unstoppable through it anyway. Tarzan very nearly got that knock on the other side. It's not a bad equalizer. The damage there isn't awful from Guon either, but it actually knocks them off for the equalizer. I guess he was just looking for the burst, right? Ult shots don't quite land from Assume. Flandra doesn't burn down. Assume doesn't have the Infinity Edge. If he has the Infinity Edge, he probably kills like 3 people there. And now he does have it. He does have Infinity Edge now. Third item, not even close from... Well, I say not even close, but it's, you know, he's halfway to. It's not even beyond that point, right? Assume will be close to one-shotting now. They're actually funding him more gold. They're funding him more. Wow. Guon just has nothing. 0 and 5. The top side of the map, top jungle, is 0, 8, and 4. A 0.5 KDA from Hoya and Guon, who've had poor games between them. Draw has been caught out a lot. I think some of his decision-making hasn't been fantastic. At least his 2v2 was good. He was part of the reason that Assume got ahead, so he escapes blame largely for now. On the other side, it has been all Tarzan all day from anyone's legend. Assume versus Tarzan. Didn't think I would be saying that coming into today. Well, no, Assume yes, but... No, actually, no. No, I did think I'd be saying that today. Sorry, what am I talking? I did think I'd be saying that today, but I didn't think it'd be this exemplified, right? I didn't think it'd be this big. Shanks, it's been an okay game from him on the Annie. Nothing special. Death's Dancing from Tarzan. He's so far ahead, he can buy that instead of something like a GA. Ult coming through from Care, trying to go onto Shanks. He does have Flash. Protobelt's away. Care wanted to get away from the Flash potential. Escapes the 4-man play. Flash down from Annie is important, though. I think it's more important to get rid of that Flash. Teleporting onto the Baron now, so Shanks got towards that. There are Hex Gates, which can help them get towards it. There's a Gust Walk from Gon to help him walk across the map. Cad would have to teleport in, and he's doing that now. Shanks on the unseen angle. You spot one ward in the brush there. Hex Gates will spot out Shanks. How much do they have vision on the Dragon? It's going low. It will be a Baron secured NIP. They were over-invested into bot side. Baron taken by anyone's legend. A quick play and a good escape by Shanks. No way through that. It's not even like NIP had 3 dragons to help them. No, not 3 dragons. 3 grubs to help them push on the other side of the map. And AL have a 2,000 gold lead now. It's a shame that they couldn't find an actual play around that Baron. I would like to see the DPS check from Assume. He's got himself another crit cloak. He's very close to that 100% crit now. He's just off of it. Gone about, what, 92.5%, something like that. Flandre, level 17. Almost 3 items on the Ambassador. 1,000 gold ahead of Hoya, who, as we said, not had a great game. This has not been the best look from NIP. We do know they can be a volatile team. It's a shame that we've seen so many of their players not hit their stride in this first game. It's a very important series. No, Anyone's Legend. They are kind of ripe for the picking right now. Not a very strong team on form. Some turrets are going to go down in favor of Anyone's Legend. Turret did just go down. I think that was mid lane turret, which just eventually fell. Is that true? No, it can't be true. Is mid lane inner turret? Yeah, mid lane inner turret. My bad. Not sure if you got kill credit for that. Potential fight. I don't know if I like this at all. I mean, there are 3 grubs on the side of Anyone's Legend. You can equalize the wave, but it is Baroned up. Hoya, does he do it now? Try and get some damage onto them. Might go for a wraparound play. Good defensive vision from Anyone's Legend. Dragon spawning now. They're starting it now. Maybe just trying to say, look, you've overpushed. You haven't spent your gold. So we can start Dragon now. Tarzan's going to come in from their own jungle. Assumes not getting good damage right now. Flickback doesn't land. Talia used to go onto Flandre, but he's getting out for now. Do they get the play? And the rock surfing from Care's not bad. Has to use the ultimate to go unstoppable. Care not been bad at those actually. Draw going low. Guon goes into the play. The equalizer onto Kyle. It's not too bad. Care going low. What is Assume doing? He needs to get the damage down. W lands and the knockup lands onto him. I think that'll be the end of the fight. Assume can't do enough. He's trying, but he goes down. Triple kill to Hope. Evens up the score a little bit more between him and Assume. And I think NIP played too much with smoke and mirrors and run face first into their own reflection. AL, much better play from them across the average. I think Flandre's been fine. I think Tarzan's been great. Shanks has been fine. Really, Hope was the guy that was struggling more. It was only on NIP really Assume he was a real threat. He can't do enough in that fight. NIP, I think they overthought things. With the 3 grubs, I think this is just game. I think this could just be game. Oh, no, it'll be 2 inhibs now. I think with the respawns, they can't take it quick enough even with the 3 inhibs. Now with an 8,000 gold lead, Hope has ended up evening up the score with Assume. No, Tarzan is ahead 4,000 gold. Assume was ahead not a dissimilar amount. So what happened here? Flandre pushed up in mid lane too far. Guon flashed onto him. Can't really get that much. He's not had a good game. It's been a very difficult game from him. I think he just kept doubling down and kept losing. Went unstoppable through that through that flick back. And then Draw caught out in the front line. He's not had an easy time of it either. Hope gets the free fire onto Care. Assume gets hit by the combo from Tarzan. I mean, if you flash that, does it change anything? No, probably not. Maybe he gets 1 back. That'll be the end of it, though. So now an 8,000 gold lead from AL. Much better early game from them. Bot lane is an issue still. But I did worry whether, you know, NIP... You know, whether Guon could make it work against Tarzan, whether Hoya can make it work against Flandre. You know, Flandre's been stable this game. That's actually a problem against Anyone's Legend. The way you shut down Flandre is you bash him over the head in laning phase so much. That's a very quick tower take. NIP, not able to really get a clean engage for themselves either, really, with the Nautilus. Nautilus just been dying at the start of the fight. Draw had a... Well, outside of laning phase, not a good game on the Nautilus. The Lord Domus Regards, now built up for Assume 5 items. The Jhin can do more damage than the Ashe. Can do, but the Ashe does have so much more damage now built up in Infinity Edge herself. See how much damage he's doing to Cannon. He's like 2-shotting a Cannon. That's crazy. Hope, poor early game from him, but at least a good team fight or two has seen him into a much better position. Shanks... 1 or 2 plays, the stun around the 4th dragon, I think it was. 3rd dragon, rather, was pretty good from him. Outside of that, Shanks has been a bit of a bit player in this game. W lands onto the Seraphine. Serpent's Fang, of course, helping. Ultimate missing from Hope. 1 or 2 of them have been quite important, actually, from him. That's fair, actually. I mean, as much as his laning phase is poor, he's caught out Guon a lot with those arrows. Guon 0 and 6. Topside is 0 and 10 between them. Okay, put it this way. Assume teammates are in this game, between them a combined 1 and 15. 1 and 15 are Asim's teammates. That is just hellish. Just a thought from someone in YouTube chat from Hitman Gorilla. How much of anyone's legend falls from grace is not just them losing Tabe and performing badly, but how much of it is the rest of the LPL being good? Well, sorry, 1 and 17, my bad, folks, my bad. Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to add Kaz on there. 1 and 17, even worse. Ult lands onto him. Good Captain Jack with the McHales. Still loses half his HP. Teleport coming through from Shanks. The Encore is missed. Flash away meant that couldn't really connect. So Kyle, he's not had the best game either on the Seraphine. Teleport flashes down. Ale not cleanly finding the fight there. Can't start the hang on flashing in. Gorn really wants to find something, and Kyle has no flash. Good pick up onto him. Care gets the stun onto the Ambassador. Assume, where is he? Is he just dead in the middle of the fight? Not sure where he is. He is still alive for now. That's important. It was Gorn that went down. My apologies. Currently a 2 for 2. Support jungle for support jungle. Tarzan more important there though. Assume no flash on him. That's important. Hope still alive. Shanks still alive. I saw someone caught out in the middle of the play. It's like, oh my god, is that Assume? No. It's not that bad for NIP. And the gold lead shrunk a little bit. Anyone's legend, I think they're really struggling to land engages. You know, despite the fact they have Jarvan, Ambessa, and Kyle on the Seraphine. Shanks ends up getting a Medjai's, 10 stacks on that. Again, if you're going to get a Medjai's, folks, get it early, not late. Late means that you're not really getting damage from the stacking potential. It's a good pick-off, and the Equalizer is very good. Equalizer is very good. Stops Shanks from getting into the play. Tarzan goes over the minefield. Yeah, it's not a good play from Tarzan. He flashes in to get stunned by the Taliyah minefield and dies. Not good from him. Hey, well, there you go, folks. Another 2 kills for Asim's teammates. Now they're like 3 and 19 instead, rather than 1 and 17. KDA is slowly getting better there. Dragon in 20 seconds would be Hextech for anyone's legend. It's not been a confident game for them, and more of Malmortius built up for Hope. Another BF sword for Asim, so his AD scaling is going off the charts now. Okay, so around this one, well, Annual's Legend, they don't have the flash on Seraphine again. Shanks is on the flank, does have flash himself. Does he stop bottom? Yes, he does. Ult onto the... God damn, he just killed him! Holy crap, Boya very, very nearly dies in one. He still has the ability to live through there. Gets hit by the Encore. Just Jaw dead in the front line. They have the Equalizer, won't be used. Guon dies in the front of it. Tarzan's gone too far again. Equalizer onto him. His GA is down. Flandre hits carry, flashes in a straight line. The second time we've seen that from a player in this game. Assume gets his shots reloaded. Tons of damage onto it. Very nearly kills Shanks, but can't get it done. Shanks, good fight from him. Basically took the Rumble out of the fight. Anyone's Legend will win this game, most certainly off of this now. The Hextech Soul. But it was a little belabored. A little belabored. It's not been the cleanest for them. Tarzan, very far ahead in the early game, struggled to team fight later in the last 2 attempts. Shanks, better in the late game. Struggled to have an impact that much early. And again, a little bit sidelined, really. Sidelined. Flandre. It's a good ultimate there. Oh, Care. I don't think Care's been the problem here, folks. Like, assume Care has been the main character. Sorry, Assume's been the main character. Care, you know, beyond that. Anyone's Legend, looking to roll in with the mid lane. Guon alive, but then again, he's 1 and 8 on the Shins. How much can he really do? Full come on to the Nautilus. He goes down yet again. Guon will go 1 and 9 in this first game. Tarzan on the other side, 7 and 2. Anyone's Legend finished the game. They were in control of largely from beginning to end. Some worries about Assume getting very far ahead, but they can't finish that off. Anyone's Legend. We thought they were going to be underdogs here even. NIP, the better form in recent days on this, on everything here, really. Anyone's Legend. Credit to them. Credit to them. Worked out very well here. Oh, gosh. NIP, they need a better level 1. I think that Guon cannot afford to be put behind like that again. Imagine what would have happened if Guon had a good game. Guon was just not good in this game. He was not good. He was out jungled. He doubled down. He lost. If he'd just taken a more conservative approach to the game, just hadn't flipped as much, I think NIP maybe win this. I think they probably should win this. It feels bad to see a game like that from Assume now consigned to the history books as a loss. Tarzan is the MVP, by far. Incredible game from him. He set this up for success, put Guon into the dirt. One of the biggest jungle advantages I've seen from a while and how it affected the game. Can we give Assume MVP? I think Assume is a losing MVP for me. Yeah, he was incredible in that game. Okay, so I've got to set some stuff up in the background, folks. So while we're on break here, I'm going to leave you with this for now. I'll wait for you to have things through here. I'm going to put an ad break on. If you would like to support the channel, please think about dropping a like, a comment, subscribe. I'm going to move the PlayStation through into this room because I'm going to be playing Cthulhu. I'm going to be playing Cthulhu. And hopefully, we can play that on stream and you'll enjoy it. I'm playing Variety recently. Has not been great for the channel, not going to lie. So yeah, it would really mean a lot to me if people could stick around and watch that on Twitch afterwards, because last time I was playing Variety, we had like viewers go from like 200 to 10. Basically, folks, if I'm ever going to do anything which isn't LPL, then I need to have the numbers for it, because if my average numbers go below 100 too much, and I don't mind it being below 100, but if they do go below 100, it's I'm not going to do Variety on the channel. It's just not worth it for me, because at that point sponsors start dropping out. Okay, folks, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back after these. I'll change the music after a little bit later, don't worry, because it's not going to the proper ad break yet. Okay, I think I said a PlayStation. I think I have. We shall figure that out in a second anyway then. Okay, well, I guess we find out who our player... We just had player again? Did I miss that while I was over there? Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Let's go change over to the break music now. Okay, we get to chill out a little bit. Did I run adverts already? Yes, I did. Good job, me. I love it when I do that. I love it when I do that. Okay, so, look, NIP, I mean, I think that they didn't expect Anyone's Legend to come in with that amount of early game prep. Anyone's Legend. I mean, I think that bot lane was an issue. Should be getting MVP now. And it's Tarzan, no surprise. 96% kill participation. Really good damage percentage from a jungler. Plus 4k up in individual role at end. That is insane for a jungler. And this is his third MVP as well. Actually, let's have a look at Anyone's Legends full game wins, actually. How many have they had? Well, they've... Oh, hang on. Whoa. Anyone's Legend have only won 5 games total. So he's won 3 out of their 5 MVPs in wins. It's crazy. I mean, we always said that he was their most important player, and I think that is encapsulated in a game like this. No worries, Katari. No worries. It's all good. Appreciate your work as always, Katari. Appreciate that. Very, very helpful. But yes, there was a question towards late game from him and Gorilla over on YouTube chat, which is how much of Anyone's Legend fall from grace isn't just them getting worse without Tabe and just playing worse in general with the meta? How much is the other teams getting better? Well, I think the lane swap removal is the big thing. I don't think bot lane is good enough in laning phase. I don't think top lane is good enough in laning phase. I don't think they've sorted out the meta for the early game for this meta. I think that's been a huge issue for them. Yeah, I think it's been a huge issue. I think that, yes, other teams have gotten better because they have better laners. LPL was always a laning region. We loved playing around lanes, you know? Top lane and bot lane. You know, we have very strong early laners. That's one of the biggest things about LPL. They like to brawl like that. Then suddenly doing away with stuff like lane swaps really, really helped, where I think the coordinated team play, yes, I think that Anyone's Legend has shown that actually LPL can be very good at that, and LPL definitely succeeded in some lane swap metas before. I think that just raw laning, we're just better on average compared to the other styles, especially comparative to other regions, right? And Anyone's Legend, sadly for them, they were meant to be a cerebral lane swap team. I found it when they put that roster together, I was like, well, you know, it's not a bad roster, but really it has to be Tabe Tarzan kind of strategically carrying that team, and they did last year. They did. I just don't think their laning strength is good enough. I don't think it's good enough, and while they might end up peaking again, that'll always be an issue when you have no lane swaps to hide your early lanes. I think that Hope, as we've seen, is not fantastic. That Kyle can be fine, but I don't think he's like fantastic at it. And then I think Flandre is just a disaster in early lane. You know, he's fine on stuff like the Scion, but not on average. Very interesting, the conversations around EMEA Masters, by the way, because how many people knew that EMEA Masters finals happened yesterday? Because I had to find out from Reddit, and that's because there's no official broadcast anymore. Like, I can't follow the broadcast anymore despite working on it for, you know, for years. It's a really sad state of affairs. The co-streaming conversation has been so focused around LEC recently, where I think that it's actually more arguable about the out, because obviously you have people like Kamato, eBay, Cadril, who are all just huge, fantastic co-streamers. And I think that LEC is the region which has benefited the most from co-streamers, I think. So I think that that's where actually a lot of the complaints about people complaining about co-streaming are actually very valid. However, if you go to LPL, as we have right now, you have EMEA Masters, or regions like NLC, these regions have been shot through largely by co-streaming. It's destabilized the region, and what that means is that there's no history being kept for these regions, and it means that when you have players who are excellent, I mean, someone like Vampire, right? Vampire's rise to glory has basically all been in the co-streaming era. You don't realize that the stories, though, you don't get to carry those stories forwards, though, because you don't have like people who are carrying that story through to as bigger an audience. You start doing those. I mean, that was always a problem for LPL anyway, right? Because we didn't have people on international broadcasts. But the same thing happens for EMEA Masters, right? Where people maybe care about that more because it's linked to LEC. But players like Yike, Skewmond, you know, these Kalist, Super, coming out from EMEA Masters, had their stories built in Tier 2 first. And we got to carry them through up to LEC when that came through, because there was a solid broadcast that could be custodians of that region, of those regions, and be the storytellers. We don't have that anymore. We don't have that for EMEA Masters, and it means that players coming up are just not going to have the same fanfare. It means you don't have the same content about them. You don't get to show their personality. This is one of the big problems. Players don't have, there's no content and there's no personality about those. Yeah, and that's true as well. I mean, even with Yike, right? Yike started in the PG Nationals, not in LFL. People just started from LFL. Rilek as well. There are plenty of players who didn't start off in the bigger ERLs. They started even in the smaller ones, actually. And the tier 2 stories kind of get forgotten. And, you know, over time, then it becomes more about their tier 1 progress. I understand that. But you play catch up. The problem is then you're playing catch up with a lot of these people. So I think so much of the co-streaming conversation, and like, look, co-streaming has a huge positives, but if it kills a broadcast like it's done for EMEA Masters or LPL, you lose the stories, and that means that all of these things you complain about, where's the personality, where are the stories around these players, why are there no interesting teams? You know, right now, NIP are an interesting team, but you wouldn't know that because there's no official broadcast, right? Unless you're watching something like this, and that means that the power to tell those stories goes way through the floor, and I think that's a huge negative. I think it's a huge negative. And, you know, Sam and I are going to keep doing this, and we basically treat this as an official broadcast, right? Now, LPL English are doing a good job, but the audience share of LPL has gone through the floor. I mean, you look back at the 2024 co-streaming stats, I think it's something like 2/3 of the viewership stats for LPL was co-streaming. 2/3 of it was co-streaming. And that basically means that it also doesn't help that, you know, we didn't have our casters on international that often. We had like a Dagda occasionally, and obviously then he left in 2023, and then we had Asterix, and then he left in 2024. Yeah, we didn't have those international representatives to tell our stories there, right? And it means it's yeah. Late, but isn't AL worse off because the Enchanter meta took away Kyle's impact in teamfights? Kyle's a good Enchanter. I think that's not a problem. I think his teamfighting is actually even fine there too, although his engaged play was really good on stuff like the Rel, Leon, and Nautilus for sure. I think that it's not the problem of Enchanters. He's actually been okay at them for a very long time. I think it's a problem of early laning. I think they're still fine in mid and late game teamfights on the whole. Yeah, anyway, I just thought that was an interesting conversation because obviously Trouble just tweeted out about EMEA Masters. I think it's actually very relevant. It's very relevant. Okay, well, close towards what could be our last game of the day if NIP don't pull the finger out, really. Okay, let's get ourselves ready for what could be potentially our last game of the day. And then reminder, folks, after this, I would really appreciate if people stuck around at least for a little bit. So I'm going to be playing a new game, Cthulhu. The new Cthulhu game, which should be really interesting. It's like a horror puzzle game. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, I want to do some variety, but bluntly, I mean, I said this before the break, if the viewership isn't there, I can't really afford to do that, because if my average viewers go down too much, it's nasty. Yeah, it basically just loses me sponsorship opportunities. Hey, Zareth, 20 months? That's almost a year. Thanks, Zareth, I appreciate you. Just going to close the door. We'll get on with this game, shall we? Alrighty. I mean, Qatari, there's positives and negatives to that, right? Because one of the things about that, for instance, Qatari, is that, like, they used the player POVs, they did. But yeah, I mean, NLC was mishandled itself, so they only have themselves to blame. Yeah, NLC only has themselves to blame. You know, they mishandled it, They didn't pay people. They ran out of money. They burned through their budget. Well, like twice over. And it didn't help that they kind of burned a lot of talent too. So I think NLC has themselves to blame. In terms of the tier 2 in general, I mean, having big teams with huge interest in them is a good thing. That is a good thing. But the way that the team reacts to it, obviously, very, very important too. Let's get ourselves into game 2, though. Be done with this other nonsense. NIP will have first pick. AL have blue side. Karma, Varus banned away. We still have... What are our power picks? Well, the Orianna, Ryze, Pantheon, expecting those 3 to be banned away. Maybe one of the Pantheon or the Ryze makes it 3, but I don't think you have both of them. The Vi banned away. NIP very rarely give up that pick. Guon had an awful first game. So any kind of comfort for him weighs double right now. Really expect more from him. He was blown out of the game by Tarzan. Ryze Pantheon, as we said, still available. There's still Lulu lanes as well, the Lucian Milio. So AL aren't banning away all of the power bot lanes this time. I think AL could be in trouble through bot lane. Nocturne banned away from Tarzan. Pantheon banned away. So Ryze could be a first pick here. Lulu could be a first pick here. Orianna could be a first pick here, of course. Now, there's no Nocturne or Jarvan to go with it. Shanks could also just go for the Azir into it. Tends to be happy with that. Shanks, one of our better Azir players within the LPL. If you go towards the Azir, what else do you do? Do you pick up a prime bot laner right now? Is there a jungler left open that you think would be powerful? There's none of the early powerful ones up. I mean, Jarvan, Vi, Shinzao, Nocturne, Pantheon, those 5 are kind of like our early game AD skirmishes. The Lucian locked in. So they want to go for like Lucian Nami. Well, yeah, you can go Lucian Nami right now. Or you can go for the Milio. Because on the other side, you could go Corki Nami still. Lucian Milio, Corki Nami, we've seen NIP lose out on that a little bit. They could also go Yunara Lulu. Just say you can have your Nami, we'll have the Yunara Lulu. Milio locked in. Okay, Yunara Lulu it is. Yunara Lulu it is. So bot lanes locked in for both sides. Anyone's legend will lock in the Azir. So mid and bot lane locked in for both sides. Jungle role is going to get really hit here. NIP might end up banning away the Sion, because Flandre is so comfortable on it. So I think Sion ban from NIP makes sense. Sion Cassante ban's also not awful. Could ban away something like the Skarner. Now the thing is, NIP don't want Skarner. It's hyper countered by Milio. We've seen this a lot, right? We saw that Hung failed the ult cleanse on it for Elk the other day. Vayne banned away from Flandre. Oh, so they want the tank. Okay, all right. And Milio is really good with Vayne too. Vayne with Milio. Oh, the extra range. Nuts. Neferi banned away. Yes, that would have been a very good call, actually. Yeah. Neferi Orianna, nasty combination. Seen that across the place a couple of times. It's played a little bit last year, actually, by a couple of teams. Trying to remember if it was FPX that played it with Shadow. Nah, banned away from Hoyer as a safe blind pick top lane. So I guess Hoyer is himself looking for Cassante Sion. Now Sion, the problem with Milio into Sion is that you can't stop his ultimate, so he still engages into you anyway. Skarner banned away. We did say that was powerful. So now to AL take away the Sion. You could just Sion. Yeah, easy. And then NIP, what do they go towards? You could nah, Trundle's not great into Milio. Very good into Sion, not good versus the other ones at all. It's kind of unplayable, actually. There's a lot of fit hovers today. Questions about top lane and jungle. So what does Guon want to play in jungle? The pool's been really shredded. You could go Maokai. No, Maokai's kind of bad too. Gwen for Hoyer, alright. That's a little different. What does Guon do in jungle? I suppose it could be a Gwen jungle, but... Well, I suppose it could be a Gwen jungle, but that would remove the engage from Guon. Now, playing Maokai or Sejuani is really hard into the Milio. You can just put the Maokai and just say, we'll trade ults, I suppose. But then you're too high magic. You're triple magic damage topside. You could at least Sin. Trundle, we said, is good versus the Scion, bad versus the others. It feels like a consolation Trundle, actually. Tarzan used to play Zed into the Trundle as a counter. Zed has been really killed in jungle now, though. The passive has kind of killed it. Jack's jungle being thought about. Kiana's pretty damn good here. Kiana's really good here. Even though Kiana's also been nerfed in jungle, I still think actually viable in some spots. Right here, very good into the Trundle, can hop away from his pillar, can go invisible so he can't auto-attack him, can use the terrain of the Trundle, and of course the Lulu and the Orianna very assassinatable by the Kiana. So Kiana for Tarzan, that's a cool pick. I like that quite a lot. We get through the jungle pools. Tarzan shows some of his depth. Anyone's Legend have Scion Milio as a front to back. NIP, they're trying to use the Trundle to give themselves a bit of an advantage in terms of killing the Scion. Hoya wants to get ahead of that matchup too. They are very flimsy if Trundle does not ult the Scion, though. That is potentially a worry. I think that Guwon could be on a very dangerous mission. I'm going to go into a quick ad break. If you don't want ads, please subscribe. Makes a difference too. Sam and I, we make our earnings through this stream. You would be supporting us and support the stream as well. Why is Kiana good here? Because Trundle can do nothing in that matchup. The pillar means nothing. She can hop over it. She can go invisible. Can't get auto attacked. Anyway, we'll talk more about specifics when we get into things. Thank you so much for the sub there, Pharaoh. Let's hear the gyos. That's pretty loud, isn't it? That's pretty loud. All right. By the way, I think volume's been okay today. I did have a quick check, but obviously if there's any audio issues, you let me know in chat. I'll try and sort them ASAP. Okay, Shanks Care, auto-attacking level 1. No soldier down at the start of that. Still trading okay, though. Press the attack, Lucian. Yeah, that's pretty standard. First strike for Tarzan, pretty standard there too. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. Shanks, does he have another soldier here? Trading well with the lethal tempo. Of course, lethal tempo helps the champion auto attacks, not just everything else there too. Barrier used from Assume, which is why he's slightly higher HP than Hope. Looks like he went through the entirety of that barrier, actually, so did use that well. Why doesn't China ever pick Aatrox jungle? That's a good question. I think it actually should be played a little bit more. For sure it should do. You're right. I think we do play a little bit of Zahen jungle, but yes, that could... Oh, level 2. Oh, draw missing the glitter lens. I do think that draw being on Enchanter matters a lot more to him. This is something that Tarzan does very often on the Kiana, by the way. He did this last year. Something that Skumon and Shun learned a lot from. Going for the 3 camps into recall for Longsword, it allows you to have more stats to fight for the second side of your jungle, and then also your Scuttle Crabs as well. Hoya doing fine in the top lane matchup here. But yeah, Tarzan on Zed and Kiana would go for, and sometimes Neferi too, because they clear so quickly through their first 3 camps. Or they did, some nerfs have come through as we were saying. But you can go for a very quick 3 camps, and then you can go for a quick recall, get the longsword, and have a component before the enemy jungler is. I don't think a lot of people realize how important it is having just a single longsword extra in the trade. It makes a huge difference. Oh, flash forwards, very nearly gets the kill. Very nearly gets it. E-shield comes through. I think Shanks would have just survived. I'm not sure if there's clockwork wind up on that. So flash for none, Care winning the early laning phase, but down the summon, it doesn't really help. The Arc of Judgment Does go wide. Draw losing a little bit of HP. Double slap coming through. The laning phase going much better for Hope and Kyle this time. Assume and Draw missing a couple of important skills. The Glitter Lances, the Arcs of Judgment, not quite landing in the way that they wanted to. Ooh, that could be. I was wondering whether Tarzan would actually, Guon would actually go down into bot lane and make something happen there. So bot lane not getting the advantages they normally do. No flash there from Cad to spot Tarzan now. Doesn't hit him with a Q. They're either going back into his own jungle. Raptors respawning. Dark Seal first for Care. Good for him. Assume even in CS for now. Half HP. Recalling wave. Ooh, what is happening with that wave? Is that slow pushing back to AL? That's really bad for Assume if that's the case. Goes back for a recurve bow. Recurve bow is really important. Recurve bow is a very nice spike, especially if high attack speed. The extra damage, I think it's extra, is it 15 magic damage per auto, something like that? Genuinely pretty big. Maybe it's 10 damage per. Anyways, like an extra 10 to 15, something like that. It's a flat amount per auto. But of course, the Q spreads the on hits. So you get to use that for wave clear, spread it between multiple targets. Early bot lane going well for Hope and Kyle. Another Glitter Lance missing. Boy, doing fine into Flandre, as you're saying. Not really sure who this favors more. Flandre is normally just happy to not die in lane, you know? Flandre's laning phase hasn't been fantastic. Jump forwards, using the shield from the E. For those of you that don't know the Azir, a lot of the time you will just use the E to get yourself that shield midway through the combo, or through the trade rather. Azir tends to win longer trades as long as he can keep his lethal tempo up. This thing which Jojo Pion does a lot in Europe, actually. He just permanently keeps his lethal tempo stacked and then forces you to back off. He'll use his E to keep the trade going. Keeping your lethal tempo stacks up is a very important part of the way you play. Funnily enough, that's actually how I used to play AD, Ahri, and mid lane as well before the Shiv. Before the Shiv build, I used to play stuff like Kraken Slayer Blade, Ahri, and you'd go like W max, and you'd like keep your lethal tempo stacks by using your W to keep in range. Really fun, really fun. Jump forwards again. Hope playing well in this laning phase so far. It's not Tarzan. Whenever I see the Trundle, I think Tarzan because T, the first letter. And Tarzan's going topside though. And he'll try to take down Hoya. And I don't think he'll just try. I think he'll succeed. No, the healing is very, very good there. Hoya survives with the 1,000 cuts passive and will make it out alive. Very, very good from Hoya. Just about lives. Flash out of Flandre for flash of his own. Doesn't have a teleport to get back to lane, but he'll happy not to die there. Tarzan doesn't get gold from topside. Guon is even in jungle matchup. Very different from last game. That's a big win from Hoya. Some time wasted from Tarzan. Well, the wave is getting pushed away from him, so it's not the happiest situation in top lane. Yeah, it's a slow crash in top side. In fact, there might be a regank top side. Shockwave trade on mid lane. Orianna Azir does this quite a lot, where both of them will just try and throw ults at each other for chunk. Kay walks into the enemy jungle, puts a ward down, immediately swept out, but they do spot out Tarzan and Kyle. If these teams ever go even, I think NIP win based on how they played last game. I just think that level 1 really messed up their tempo. Well, it depends where the leads are, right? And I think that AL are actually, hang on, maybe just going towards the mid lane. No extra ability to survive that one. Wall sets up. Create your own combo. Tarzan gets the wall slam set up by the Azir. Good play there from Shanks. No flash from Kai. Didn't get that kill earlier, and then using that flash ends up really hurting him. Loses a full cannon wave. Loses 2 plates on mid, maybe. No, just the one doesn't stick around from that. That's a huge loss from Kai. These skill shots are also not landing from Draw. Draw's not had a good day. He's not had a good day. Died a lot in that last game, just getting picked off first without much value on the Nautilus. Kai just lost so much in that mid lane. Part of the reason why NIP did last as long as they did in the last game, though, is because Assume was very far ahead. We expected Assume and Draw to be doing well versus Hope and Kyle, and they very much did in that first game. Oh, potential jump forwards again, using that E to trade with the shield, as we were seeing that last time. Oh, Cash shouldn't have given that extra auto attack over. Was looking for that QW. Didn't get it. But Assume's not ahead in this matchup. Now, we'll see what he can do after that, right? But the 2v2s were often where the game has gone very well for NIP. The fact that anyone's Legend have managed to shake off a lot of the doubts after that first game, very important. Oh, Culling coming through. Early level 6, Assume now has himself his own ultimate. Go on walking over, can he smite? Oh, no he can't. There was a smite available from Tarzan, didn't need it. Hoya using that ult in topside. Flandre Going pretty low there. Conqueror fully stacked up. Ow, yeah, that's nasty. Care, early run, do have the shockwave here. Gaunt's here to gets the shockwave with the E, gets the kill after, even though there was an ult from Flandre. Didn't expect that one. I didn't really expect it either. Passive does just about get the kill though. 1 for 1, a tower shot too many, and the wave is in a good spot. So at the end of the day, Flandre is okay with this. He can teleport back top lane. The wave is in a good spot for him, Shanks. Only way he dies here is if he ends up getting cancelled on his shuffle out. He's not using the pillar. Gaunt goes to the flash. The pillar doesn't hit him. That's the only way he would have died. Flash shuffle gets him to safety. A bit of an over push. Good roam from Karen with Gaunt. Tarzan is taking all 3 grubs, though. Very happy to do that. Time passive is so stupid. Definitely makes him annoying to shut down on waves. He always gets those clears up. Tarzan gets every grub there. 3 grubs for him, farming up a storm. Hoya back to lane. 1 for 1, of course, in that last lane, as we were saying. That last trade, rather. AL 1.4k up. A lot of it's in jungle because that first kill. The rest of it is minor gold leads across the rest of the map. No big bot lane lead for NIP this time. Whenever I think about NIP, I mean, there was a point where, like, Fota can draw, and then the PP got bot lanes. You know, like, the players which kind of came over from V5, they were really good in that 1v1. Assume just a level down right now. Culling's not there from Hope. There was a roam from both supports into River. Oh, does he jump forwards here? Maybe he does. No. Shield traded for shield. Oh, hang on a second. Tarzan's down. This boss needs to be very careful now. Assume did use his ultimate for that. It's being dissuaded now. Does Tarzan know he's been spotted? I think so. Jumping forwards again, knowing that they have the Kiana right behind. Oh, Assume, what have you done? Jumps in with a wild growth. Flashes away. You did see him just there. Culling all into minions. That's not the best case scenario. Flushes forward with a polymorph. Oh, Hope, that is not the place he wanted to be. Taking up the time there. Ult does not connect onto Assume despite it being around the tower. Dive on the top side. Go on, put the ult onto Flandre. Tanks the tower, doesn't die to the tower shots. Flandre will live despite the needlework being thrown at him. Doing a good job of absorbing pressure. Assume and Droid did quite well in the 2v3, but they're losing an extra wave to turret. Kiana could have killed them in the next basic cooldown. Hoya looking for the 4 stacks onto Flandre at the Q, maybe. Nice. He's still very close. Kills him. Just times out the W. Flandre. Very, very risky trade. Hoya just stacks up, waits for the shield to wear off, and will kill him. Good kill there from Hoya. Hoya, not been a player I've really associated with carries across his career, but he's changed that this year. Stuff like the Varus top lane really came out of him. Last year, of course, on TT, had an okay time of things. You look back at Winter, was playing stuff like the Camille, beat Bin in a game 5 on Camille. So this is not what I expected. You know, Hoya being the one to get so many resources, and Assume and Dwarf kind of remaining even instead. Dragon started, so they get the smite onto this polymorph, onto the Kiana, not able to smite this, going straight onto Assume. Not bad damage from him. The sweep is stopped short, but they still get him anyway. Care wants to kill off Tarzan, does just about get him. Shanks still full HP. Draw will go out. It's currently a 2 for 1. Yes, but Dragon goes to NIP. Slight win for anyone's legend. Double kill to Hope. Assume it did end up getting caught just by the edge. Just by the edge of Shanks' ultimate. Top lane, slight freeze from Hoya. Well, he's holding, it's not a freeze. If it's not a slight freeze, it's not a freeze, is it? Falls there again. Shockwave onto Shanks. Takes a tower shot from that 2K. Good damage back. Nice trade. Hoya jumping at Flandre. Doesn't have... Oh, he does have the Riftmaker. That changed things a lot, actually. Has the ultimate coming up in a few seconds. Did they pull it out now? I think he actually might do here. Stacking up again. Q coming through. Flandre really sticking around here. Has his own ultimate. Might have to trade that again. Ow, full damage onto him. Flandre doesn't dodge any of that there. Nasty. So Hoya starting to take control after the Riftmaker. This is the fight here again. They managed to isolate out Assume just about. Polymorph onto him was good before the fight. Tarzan jumps onto him, gets himself the Profane Hydra onto him. Assume if he takes one step forwards, I mean, he still dies. He still dies because Hope is right there. Draw just about makes it out. Double kill to the Lucian. The Lucian's going to get scary now. Not a good game from Hope in the first game, but the second one's looking pretty good. Zoom up on top side, not able to stop anything there. Roll quest, not completed. Well, it's quite far behind, actually, from Assume. Needs to be careful about that. He's going to be quite low on his roll quest because they've lane swapped away from it. Push in towards top side. We'll swap away from it now. Kraken Slayer in for Assume, Essence Reaver for Hope. There's so much extra gold for Hope, though. Looks like he's going for Flicker Blade second, maybe? I say maybe. I know it is. It's Flicker Blades. Lucian with Flicker Blades is obviously like one of the more obvious things. Not always, though. I kind of miss Essence Reaver Infinity Edge Lucian. It was so bursty. So bursty. It was a fun build back in the day. One of my favorite Lucian builds. Hoya doing well, obviously, in his own matchup, but he's only ahead 200 gold. Flandra's done more than fine to keep up in gold. There's a teleport. Why are they focusing on him? Because he's waiting for his first item, I guess. There you go. Kanik Rooken. Has the level 11. Gold mainly through jungle, but bot lane as well. Both of them exactly the same, actually, so it's those are the two roles. Don't mince your words, Alex. Another Glitter Lance landing. Draw has really not landed these Glitter Lances. I think that Draw missing so many skill shots early on in lane really hurt Assume and Draw's ability to play through this game. Really did, actually. Three Dark Seal stacks for Cat. Has the Ludens build. Not really aiming to kill the Scion. Looking to kill the backline instead, which makes sense. There's 4 of them, only 1 of the Scion. Hard for you to get ball delivery, though. Now, if Scion just ults at you, you just gotta hope that... Well, I mean, if Scion ults at you, you just put a Trundle ult in front of him. No, Trundle Pillar. Now, Scion typically really sucks into the Trundle. We saw this just before Worlds last year and then out Worlds, really. You know, the Trundle was the big difference maker there. Assume not high enough HP to take a heavy trade there, I don't think. Needs to try and clear out the way before Lucian gets here and contests it, because Lucian might jump at him. Tarzan there as well. Don't really think NIP can fight this with Assume at 2/3 HP, so they're going to be on the defensive, knowing that Assume has to take a more conservative position. Oh, he gets himself the Honey Fruit. That actually changes quite a lot there. So that means he can actually stick around now. Half a level down on the Lucian. Oh yeah, second item, little ways off. Not actually sure what the second item options are for Gwen now. Obviously, we've seen some Cosmic Drive, we've seen some Shadow Flame at points, we've seen Nash's Tooth into tank matchups. You don't always need the Nash's Tooth. Herald goes out anyone's legend. Use that to pressure down the mid lane turret. Can use it as a Battle Herald too. Battle Herald could be incredibly important, although, I mean, again, Trundle can stop the charge. As long as the Trundle marks Tarzan well, Trundle Pillar should be able to stop the Herald getting that much value. One of the better champions into that. Oh, Dusk and Dawn. Yeah, I forgot that Dusk and Dawn was a thing on Gwen. Yeah, that's true. Well, you don't always see that. Not always. When it comes through next patch, by the way, the changes to it, and it has the healing on it. It's going to break some carry versus tank top lanes match in topside. Yep, Lichbane can sometimes be there for squishy builds too, for sure. Hell coming into mid lane, do they stop it with the pillar? No, they don't. You should be able to cancel that. What happened with Guon? He should have been able to do that. Didn't cancel it with the pillar. Dragon alive now. I think Guon makes a huge mistake there. You should be able to save your mid lane turret. Guon messes up. Hope caught out a little bit. Jumps forward. The Shockwave was on the Trundle. They don't get it in, though. He does manage to escape. Gwen is shuffled out of the play. Immune to some, but not to all. Trundle goes down. Not a great moment from Guon, who failed to stop the Herald and then dies. Good escape there from Hope. Melts the play away. Anyone's Legend have had a much better early game today, and their objective fight there may just seal the deal. No third dragon from NIP. Anyone's Legend will stop the stacking. They've not fallen behind in the important roles of bot lane. Assume Draw have not taken over this second game in the way that they did in that first one. Tarzan has been ahead of Guon in both games. Obviously, first game much more. Jumping force onto Care. You can probably just kill him here. Doesn't flash to follow Care. That Mountain Blade, the Earth Blade, would have killed with the extra 50% damage from onto targets under 50% HP. Ooh, does stop him with the pillar there. There's no ultimate from him anymore. Tarzan gets the damage in and Guon fails the damage check. As he's done for this entire series, 0-3, Guon has had an awful day at the office. You know, often Guon is often the life and death of this team. So what happened here? Oh no. Just uses the pillar very cheaply. Could have stopped the Herald charge there. tried to catch out the Milio. Flash away from the shockwave was good. I mean, it did catch 2 others. That wasn't bad. But the early pillar and river really hurt them. Meant that the Herald ended up taking mid lane turret for free. I don't think there was any realistic chance that pillar leading to a pick and river. I know it sounds like I'm dunking on Guon. It's because I am. You know, this guy is so important for the team. We know how his creativity and aggression is a huge determining factor for NIP's success. However, when he gets it wrong, it gets really, really bad for them too. It's right to call out successes like they were against JDG. It's also right to call out failures like it has been here today versus Anyone's Legend. Tarzan has been schooling him, just utterly schooling him. Hoya dancing very well on the edge of tower range here. Has the needlework, won't use it there. Such a shame. Anyone's Legend, I thought they'd be losing this series. Well, I thought there were worries about, you know, Flandre not having a hard lane opponent in top lane, but to be honest, Hoya's done quite well against him in this game at least. A lot of resources in there, say that. You know, only had the 300 gold. I thought that bot lane from NIP would do well, and he very much did in game 1, but game 2 has not been that easy at all. Tarzan, great damage onto Hoya. Even in kill threat range there. Level 13, same level there. Jumping forwards, the calling. Oh no, he's jumped forwards into a Mega Blaze Kick and into the Scion as well. Well, he assumed he was safe. He was not. Shanks will take a free top lane turret. Hoya was forced off for that. Very clean mid-game macro. Flandre contesting in mid lane. When you have lanes like the Yunara Lulu with the trying to play around the Fiend Hunter bolts, like the Lucian lanes. Lucian always loves to jump forward in mid lane. The way you play this kind of bot lane meta, chat, if you haven't seen this before from like 2021, 2022, the way you play this kind of meta is you bring someone extra to mid lane at the time where they're trying to all in, because they always want to all in if they can. They bait in the fight, Sion's there with the ultimate, he can get there sooner, flips the play. Assume and Draw have not been able to do anything in the second game. Because look here, I mean, I think it's a mistake. They do have Fiend Hunter bolts. It's not a bad time for them to all in, but they lost that mid lane turret because, again, Guon misplayed that, goes straight into the culling and the Blaze Kick and the Scion. I mean, Assume has had a great split so far, but that was a bad moment from him. Can you do a full title read for Azura's set for the Imperishable? Sure. Behold, entering now, Shurima, Emperor of the Sands, Lord of Shurima, Builder of Sun Discs, Breaker of Chains, no, that's Daenerys, Conqueror of Acathia, First of the Ascended, and probably several paragraphs more. I'll need to write these down. Grandpappy to Sivir. That'll be the last one. Oh, God. So there's at least 2 teams that live and die by their junglers in JDG and NIP, particularly those teams because they're so volatile. Yeah, but you could argue that Weibo do with JJ. You can argue that IG do with Wei as well to a certain extent, right? I think the meta just lends itself to junglers being very important. Baron started by Anyone's Legend, NIP. I mean, they can... Anyone's Legend either looking for the turn or for the teleport. Oh, great damage from the culling as well. Wow, he's really taking things into his own account. Fiend Hunter bolts onto Assume, trading back pretty okay there. Baron goes down, Hoya onto the side. Can they find themselves a fight? Tarzan looking for the flank. He could potentially get himself a big flank onto this Flandre into the middle of the team. Now, what's the plan from Anyone's Legend? They've lost the one. I think they call off the play. Call off the play, get as many out as possible. Shanks, does he get spotted here? Needlework. Not going to spot him there. Shanks. Oh, hang on. There's a big play on here. Tarzan goes for the flank. Maybe that's too much. Shockwave goes through. Assume goes down. Shanks is alive. Jungler down. Shanks gets another kill. I think that's an overall 1 play from Anyone's Legend. They end up taking 3 for 2. 3 for 1 in the back end of the fight. Of course, Flandre separate from that. 3 for 1. Yeah, you take that. Flandre, the extended fight works massively for him. And now suddenly Shanks left to his own devices. Kyle here can actually give the extended range to the soldier autos as well. Means that his soldier control range goes up. Hope back onto the map as well. I think this will be a 4-game day. I think this will be a nice and easy one, folks. Tarzan waited a long time. He gets the ult onto 2. I mean, what can you say? Gets the ult onto 2. Gets Shockwave after, but gets both bot laners. Credit to him. Great play from Tarzan. Awesome day at the office for him. You know, the jungle diff has been absurd in these 2 games. You know, Tarzan, player of the series by far. NIP, while, you know, Guon is a player I respect, I think he's very important for NIP. Clearly, Tarzan has shown him out of jungle in this game. BLG also hang on the cullings. Not bad damage there.
Proto Belt's out of the way. BLG also lives and dies on how comfortable Shun is. Now, the thing is, I actually think Shun is quite good at playing from a deficit, so I don't think that's the same. Double CC on the turret. Guwon taking damage. Shanks is here now to flash away. The dive fails, and they barely take a 10th of Flandre's HP. Yeah, that is not the dive they wanted. NIP. The creativity has been snuffed out. I don't think that early game was good enough across the average. Anyone's Legend, they've had a much better handle on things this time. This has been a good confidence builder from Anyone's Legend. NIP, I think, are one of the best teams in the LPL right now. You wouldn't tell it from today's series, but trust me, they are. They're one of the most important teams to watch here in Split 2 LPL 26. I think it feels like it's definitely a bit of both, but it's sad to watch Shanks in particular not reaching the peaks he did in MSI 25. Yeah, I think that Shanks has been fine, but he's not been special. No, I think he's been worse than Cream this split. I think he's been worse than Knights. I think that Honkyu maybe on the level of Honkyu, who's also similarly like doing well, but struggling at points to kind of like flex those muscles in the same way that we know that they can. Still definitely like top 5 mids, but not contesting for top what? Sorry, rather top 1. Gosh, pickups came through at the worst time though. Hey, Purple Orca, great to see you. Well, this might be a short day today, Purple Orca. Good to see you, but well, with the purple buff here just timing out, Anyone's Legend have controlled the map. Care will recall. I just don't think there's much left in the tank for NIP. The team's not strong enough to carry the game in the way that he has done in so many other occasions for NIP. Guwon has been just Goomba stomped. Being Tarzan, classic game from him. We know that if Anyone's Legend can get Tarzan activated, this team is very, very, very strong. The drafts were better today too. You know, their last games were quite worrying on that front. Tarzan, no, Sion, ulting towards bots. The train is leaving the station. Are we going towards bot lane to just clear that out? It's in range for precisely 1 minion's worth of XP. Teleport behind Shanks. This is from Gwen. A real Hail Mary. It's not really leading to that much action, really. Not exactly a Hollywood movie, more of a, I don't know, sitcom or something. Hope gets caught out by a pillar. Doesn't really change that much, though. Fires back, heals up enough from the Milio campfire. Play falls apart. Teleport down for just the cost of a culling. NIP, the creativity is just not working out. Anyone's Legend much better at the mid-game macro. Saw in that last game as well. NIP like their explosive engage. Didn't get them their hands on someone like a Via this series. I think that Guwon not having the go button really hurt them. Another turret likely down here. I think it's just a full turret. Yeah. Shockwave not threatened. Hoya on the flank again. He's really trying for something. Maybe walk onto Kyle. Here we go. Where's the... Well, just wondering if the W could come out of that. No. That's it. Healed Shockwave onto Hope, but it's not enough damage to his shielding. As soon pretty much dies on the other side. Flash over from San. Catches out Hoya. No extra follow-up there. Shanks going forward. Extra auto attacks down. Very close to killing Guwon. One more auto would have done it. Care. Not bad damage from the QW. It's not been a bad series from him today. You know, caught out once to the laning phase here. He's been fine. Shanks getting a lot more gold from side lanes. Game 1. The one player besides Assume that was really holding his own. Hope firing back as he's caught up by another pillar. Assume firing out as best he can. Doesn't pop the ultimate just yet. The Super Mega Blaze Kick. Really hurting there, actually. Teleport back in from Shanks, level 16. Pillar comes through again. The Cozy Camp fires onto him. Ults and takes a lot of damage. Not great from Shanks there, but the culling makes up for his missed position. They're really trying to push this inhib down. Shockwave up in a handful of seconds. AL will know that. They'll back off. An extended stay in the base nets them an inhibitor and an inhibitor turret. Baron spawning again. AL will likely need that to finish the... Or just a good enough fight. A fight or a Baron will end the game for them. They're 10k up. They won't need a soul this time. 4 items coming up for Hope. He's gone for the Serpent's Fang. Very important into the Lulu, of course. Helps into the Orianna as well. Care doesn't have something like a Death Cap. Went for the Protobell. I don't mind it on Care. And on the Orianna. For a second I was about to say, he's got the Death Cap on Orianna. It's the biggest... He's needlessly large rods. The biggest large rods and all of the shopkeeper. I'm not, it's like 80% of the way there. It's not quite enough. Gotta keep working on it. Don't let the solo cast mind wander, Alex. Great damage on the good one. Pops the ultimate, or rather he doesn't. He dies. I thought he did that halfway through the plate. No, he dies trying to face check. Looking for Baron Vision. Go goes down for a fifth game in this game, fifth death in this game. Baron will take over free. Dragon on the other side. Well, it's only a third dragon for NIP. It's not like they get themselves the full thing there. As we were saying, Baron or a fight, they'll take either anyone's legend. They get one kill, they get the Baron. They march in towards top lane. NIP, they're a little slow on taking the dragon, actually, so they're going to be slow to defend the base. Ah, that's a problem. They're probably going to lose most of this turret because it's been crystallizing over time. How much is that first auto going to do? About a third of it or something? Oh, a little bit less than that. Well, it's still doing enough. I mean, the 3 grubs will help them with that. Full turret goes down almost immediately. No inhibitor turrets remaining now from NIP. Mid lane turret inhibitor's already down. Top lane inhibitor falls from the Baron push. Bot wave is not in yet. It's a saving grace, I suppose. They're looking for a good enough shockwave. I don't think that's very achievable here. Hell, even the W from Hope's hurting. Shockwave flashed away from. It's the only deliverer they have is a flash on the jungler. That's it. Sion curves his way through the chicane around the teammates. Gets some damage onto the tower. I think AL is going to march to the Nexus turret. They don't even need the fight at this point. NIP have been comprehensively outplayed in this series. NIP, one of the best teams in the LPL before this point, go up against anyone's legend who revived themselves somewhat. Tarzan goes low, but doesn't go down. Takes down the opposing number for a 6th death for him. It will be a 1-for-1 at the Nexus itself. Shanks goes down, but not before taking one with him, pretty much. Good damage from Care. Hope will die, and it won't be enough. Nexus goes down. Old Man Flandre will see the job done. Saturday's death job. Oh, I guess I gotta file some more paperwork for this one. Nexus goes down. 2-0 from anyone's legend, and a 4-0 series today. A quick one, folks. A quick one indeed. Thank you everyone for joining me for LPL. After this, I'm going to go play some variety, so stick around to watch me play. I think it's Cthulhu Rising is the name of the game. I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you're all enjoying this one, and I hope you stick around to enjoy that. I'm trying to do some stuff outside of LPL. Now, anyone's legend, this is really important for them. You know, if they hadn't got this, they would have been ending their first round robin at 2-4. Well, not ending the first round robin, but pretty much close enough to it. Would have been going 2-4 in series. And for the best team on average, thank you so much for the gift subs, Orca, again. No, the subs do make an awful lot of difference to us. Sam and I literally survive off of this stream, so if you have any room for subs, gift subs, just liking, commenting, subscribing if you don't have any money to it, it really makes a difference. And there's a Ko-fi link if you want to do a one-off donation as well. I'm going to get myself a coffee. I'm going to get set up for Cthulhu Rising. I'm going to do a game review on that soon as well, so stick around if you enjoy just watching something new. I'm playing on PlayStation, and yeah, I've heard that Monty's really been enjoying it, so I'm going to be blasting through that in the next few days. Stick around for that. I'm going to go quickly get myself a coffee, and we'll wait for the post-game studs as well. Appreciate you all. Okay, time to see if this thing actually works now. Was this one, was it? There we go. Cool, it's working. Cool, capture card's working. Perfect. Cool, well, we're ready for that then. Cool. Right. I can set up whenever.
Oh, it's Cthulhu the Cosmic Abyss. That's the name of it. Cool. Okay, looking forward to it. Okay, right, folks, if you're on YouTube, the show will end here. If you are on the thingy-mabob, if you're on the thingy-mabob, I will, it will be the, if you're on Twitch, we're going to start playing Cthulhu, the Dark Abyss, I believe it's called. Haven't played it before, looking forward to an awful lot, so stick